All right, everybody, and we are live with the open Zoom experiment. Never been done before, and if it has, I didn't watch it. So as far as I'm concerned, this has never been done before. As far as open Zoom, experiment. I gotta catch that. I didn't catch it in time. Darn it. Okay, here we go, everybody. Give some people time to get in here.
Get in this room.
At the kitchen table by the pepper and the salt, you can begin your adventure where the warm waters halt. No harsh sun, no rain that pours. Do your Forrest Fenn search indoors. It's safer and it goes much faster. It's more fun than playing canasta if you're wise and you find the blaze. You can play several times in just one day. Chase operly, the thrill of the chase. Take your journey without ever leaving your place. It's fun for the young, it's fun for the old. Get your title to the gold when your real search for the treasure needs a break. Play Chaseopoly, the thrill of the chase. Chaseopoly, the thrill of the chase.
Coronavirus!
Okay. All right, everybody. That was the Chaseopoly song. You know it. You love it. Okay, open Zoom. Kpro is going to lay down the ground rules because this is never before done.
Well, no, we just want to say that we're trying to experiment because we're all have cabin fever and it's supposed to be fun and everybody's allowed in, but we reserve the right to mute. We reserve the right to not, we're still going to moderate, and we reserve the right to delete this at the end if it's a train wreck. But we're having fun. I hope everybody has their drink tonight. And,
I got mine.
I think every time, what's the key word? So, Mike, you might not have seen.
Biddies? No, I saw part of it. Is that the key word for tonight, too?
No, I say we pick a word for tonight. We have a lot to say. There's a lot going on. And I just wanted to say before we put out the invites, there's a little bit of parameters. We're all fun, all good. We can have some hard-hitting debate. The house husband, I keep saying it wrong, house husband needs to come on. Oh, I've got some stuff to say.
The link is not in the description yet, guys. As soon as we're done, I'll put the link if you're wondering how do you get in.
As soon as we're done in 30 seconds talking. Is what he
and also you can email me. If you email me at cowlazars@gmail.com, I will email you back with the link. Go, Kpro.
Okay, so we have so much to say. Some people were wondering what the famous blanket was and the famous socks. I got that.
All right, show them the socks. I don't think people have seen the socks.
Everybody wonders where my lucky socks where I won my last tournament. I mean, you guys don't have the boyfriend I have. I mean,
those are lucky socks, everybody. Come on.
Those are lucky socks. I'm not even kidding. You guys think I'm kidding. Popper Dan, cha-ching, thank you. But I'm going to save the blanket for a moment, a hot second.
The socks weren't there at the World Series of Fenn because they didn't get here on time because they came from China.
Coronavirus!
Yeah, they did come from China, but they came later because the factories were shut down because of the whole business. But now you have them. So
no, everybody wonders. This is why I love Michael, because we laugh. We laugh until we cry. This was my present to him, and I didn't even give it to him because he outdid me. And you'll see, because you didn't go through the hour video on World Series of Fenn. Just you wait. It's tonight. It's going to be off the hook. But we need to get all of you people in here. No, and house husbands. God, I knew you was Carter. He's saying yes. My favorite soundboard. I think. Okay, Candy.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay.
All night long, everybody. All night long.
All night long. That's what Mike's about. So we've laid down the ground rules, which is we reserve the right in case we have to. We don't think we're going to have to. We're just going to have fun tonight. So there you have it. There it is.
So couple quick rules. No profanity, everybody. Don't swear. Don't call anybody else names. We're not in kindergarten, but we got to say it. No name calling, no swearing. Keep it clean. Keep it civil. I will kick you if I have to. Out of the room, that is. Okay, let me put the we ready? Are we ready to get this big show started?
Yes.
All right.
Looks like a veil. Okay, guys.
Davio, coming your way right now.
I'm showing
Logical
I'm showing
searcher
it.
coming
Here we
your
go.
way. Uh-oh.
Here you go, guys. Here's what this blanket's all about. Here's what I got on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's the best Valentine's Day present ever.
Ever.
Boom. Who is that guy? Is that Kenny Rogers? Is that Burt Reynolds from back in the day? Who is that? Who is that, Kpro?
If that's better than a veil right there, guys. That was my Valentine's Day present. Many of you laid on it. Copper Dan and Cynthia and
did something on it.
And Amy and all you other people. That was World Series of Fenn shenanigans. It was awesome. I took it out. He said, I get bummed when I'm not around Mike. That made I like snuggle with my blanket. So there you go.
So super chat's on, and I got to say thank you to Copper Dan and 3D Bronze for those 2 super chats. We do appreciate it. Keeps this train rolling. So thank you. Davio is in the house. Can you hear us, Davio? Or is he frozen? No, there he is. Hey.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear us?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Slow internet.
Yes.
There we go. There we go.
Really good. There we go. Look, snow.
No.
Snow. All that today.
I saw you jumping on your trampoline today. That was pretty cool.
Goofing off.
Right? Okay. The link is in the description of this video. AJ Rainville is in the house. All right. Candy, how you doing?
Oh, hey.
We may break the record tonight. I don't know if we have a maximum that can join. I guess we're going to find out the hard way.
I can tell you, because I know this because of my campus this week, our account allows up to 100. 100 search peaks. I don't think we'll probably get there.
Yeah, I don't know how we would. And there's Mr. Joe Lewicki himself. All right.
I'm going to say, and Miss Lewicki.
Hello. Thanks for coming on.
And she's going to kick him every time he says too much because he seems to say.
Mrs. Lewicki.
Carter is in the house.
Husband,
He can't believe he's live right now. You all right over there?
Hopefully he had a little dinner, spent some time with the dog. Mikey, you didn't see. He went live.
I saw part of it. No, I saw part of it. I'm working from home. I get to actually watch the videos when they pop up now.
Oh, you're working from home, so there's no video games. If there's video
well,
games,
working might be a relative term, but nice. I hope everybody has their drink right here. I got mine. I hope you guys got yours.
I got a big old thing of coffee.
Yeah, I got some coffee.
Okay.
Okay, so I have some announcements before we jump into. I mean, everybody. Memes.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
she's connecting to audio. Hey. Walking among lions. Yeah.
I do want to say officially, we're no longer never allowed to say Mike anymore. There is Carter. No, not Carter. There is Galore. There is Cowlazars. There is Lurker. There's too many mics. It's too overwhelming. So we have to, just like the Christies. I think there is Kpro. There is
nice. Hashtag Kpro's too loud.
Not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
Okay, that was for Kpro. All right, so okay, is there more or is that it?
No, I have a whole list. Like we can talk about the marathon. We can talk about Tricky Treasures. We can talk about Nelica stuff.
Movies.
There's lots. So, Mike, you're running this show.
Well, all right, hang on. Actually, I'll email it. I think that's from Candy, but I'll email it to you anyway. Well, the first thing I want to ask everybody about is, you know what it is.
Coronavirus!
All right, how's everybody dealing with what's going on? Here in Vegas, everything's closed. The Strip is shut down. All the casinos are closed. And if it's not a casino or a movie, I got nothing to do. So I'm working from home, and here we are.
And it was normal. There were no lines, no crazy people. There was everything except for eggs, grapes, and shampoo.
There was toilet paper?
Yeah, there was everything. So I don't know why the rest of the world is coming to cataclysmic end and they are hoarding these things, but my side of town is completely normal.
And where are you again? You're in California?
Yeah, I'm in Riverside.
Okay, Riverside.
Has it been normal this whole time, or did it just return to normal?
I mean, I just went there today, and today is Thursday? Yeah, I think it's been because I haven't seen anyone complaining about it. It's over in Chino Hills and stuff where everyone's standing like 5 hours in line just to get into the grocery store. But over here, it's normal town.
Great.
Jana says, hello, Christy Meeps. Hey. I'll kind of keep track of the chat for everybody.
Anybody else? Anybody else? I'll chime in. I will have some breaking news tonight. I'm going to be ready to say it, even though Carter, I'm going to discuss it on your channel. I'm not discussing it here. So, but anybody else want to chime in about how coronavirus is affecting them yet?
On that, I had to fill a prescription today. So I went to the store, and I'd say there was the normal amount of people, but they seemed to finally be taking it seriously. We weren't making eye contact. It felt like there was tension in the air. We were keeping that, 6 feet of distance? Mm-hmm. And so even though it was like the same number of people I would usually see in the store, it was very bizarre. It was strange. I think it's kind of sinking in that things are different.
Well, things are definitely different. I mean, I've never encountered this before where so many things are shut down, but just stay home. You know what I mean? That's all what we're doing, basically. Go to work and come home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Redneck Express, that's that's awesome. I will tell you, breaking news, I am quarantined right now. I'm not feeling anything. It's not a huge deal. But Carter, when you talked a little earlier, that's why it was a little sensitive to me. I'm hoping to get out of quarantine tomorrow. But I've made contact with someone that is waiting for the results tomorrow. And so
no
it
way.
affects me at a different level. And I will tell you how it has affected my family and it's affected other things. So when I think you are probably the hardest hitting on your channel about this. I will tell you it's a little sensitive to me because of the level that it's hit me. So I am in quarantine and it sucks.
Coronavirus.
100%. So I love Mike's the Cowlazars, coronavirus. Like it's my favorite. It's my favorite thing ever. I love it, but I will say I understand that there's very serious ramifications for those that are impacted. I 100% understand that. So regardless of what I say, take it with a grain of salt. Like I'm not heartless in my what I say.
think you hit it
very serious.
When someone
situations.
responded to you about like, oh, you're just not in that demographic, and you hit home about your history to it, and not to it, but your life history, I think you hit exactly that. This hits us all in a different way, but I am separated from some family that makes me cringe right now. So that's where when this discussion goes about coronavirus, I'm going to sit back a little bit because it's a little bit too much for me. Because I am separated from some family that it's too real and too raw right now. And one day it could be different for me, but in one day it could be even more raw. So anyway, I'm just putting it out there. But I also was sitting in the middle of a casino last week and didn't think too much of it. And actually the casino wasn't the issue, which just makes it so ironic. So anyway, there you go.
Okay, so Redneck Express, where are you broadcasting from right now? Let's say hi to some of the new people.
We're at the barn. We're at Amen Acres Barn.
What state?
We're in Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Okay. And who's that?
That's Lou.
Did you say bar or barn?
Barn. Yeah.
Nice.
We're at the barn. It's just the horse barn. This is the Colorado Blizzard report.
Yeah, I see. Davio had that as well. Yeah.
I was supposed to be there.
That's awesome.
And Logical Searcher, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Now, any of you that are having audio issues, I think, Frank, you had some audio issues, right? Hopefully they'll get resolved. But if you guys hit chat, everybody's going to be able to see it. So let's not use the chat function. Just talk it out if we have issues.
You can do it individually, but it's better if we just say, like, hey, this is what's happening. Or you don't even need to raise your hand. We've been learning. I think everybody knows that I'm on a campus right now, and our campus is learning all of this. But we're what are you petting over there?
What is that, AJ? State seal? What is that?
He's trying to pet Joel.
Oh, that's
Oh,
the horse
oh.
is right down below me.
Oh, the horse. Okay,
That's West
you're
Virginia.
kidding,
That's-
Joel.
Oh, I see.
I mean, Joel likes it, but I mean, I don't think it's appropriate. Social distancing and all.
All right, everybody. So just to remind you, the link is down in the chat right below this video that you're watching right now. Thank you for everybody who has come on the show. What do we want to talk about? It's kind of open forum. We can talk about what we want. We can just go around the room if you want to.
Okay, I have one from earlier that I'd like to throw out just because Carter was bringing the content and it was hard to do in chat, as you could see, Carter, but there was a comment, you were talking about WWWH, and Forrest made the quote, searchers have told me the first few clues, but not in the right order. And I didn't get it exactly right. Somebody can go find the exact quote, but it was not in the right order. And Holly and I were both like, that one bends my mind. Like, what do you mean not the right order? So Holly and I are perplexed. Holly's smart. I'm not. So between the two, if we're both perplexed, Carter, we wanted to at least throw it to you, but then to others, like, why would he say that? Like, why would he say not in the right order? He's already said what order to go in. Why would he say not the right? Is he messing with us?
Well, hang on. Who said not the right order?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Terry Scan.
Forrest Fenn. Forrest Fenn is an 89. Forrest Fenn.
I prefer F
He
squared.
said it in the Q&A after the screening of the lure.
He said some people are not following the clues in the right order. What exactly did he say is what I'm trying to discern.
I'll go on Terry Scant, you guys. Hold up.
Me too.
No one has told him all the clues in the correct order.
Yeah, well, Candy will find it. She's the researcher extraordinaire. But you know which one I'm talking about in general, right? Or we were talking about earlier in your.
I know which one you're talking about.
Well, I didn't say that. I don't know that he said that people have said clues not in the right order. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I was just going to say, just hearing that for the first time, because obviously I missed that part of the show when you guys were on. What I think he's talking about is people are not trying to find where warm waters halt first. They're trying to find the blaze. They're trying to find the home of Brown. So they're going out of order. That's what I get from that without hearing the context. Because he's told you, if you don't have the right where warm waters halt, you can't, I don't think you can backward engineer any of the clues. You've got to have the right WWWH. What do you guys think?
Here's something else that I threw out because somebody said it elsewhere and people were offended by it, and I don't care because everybody's offended by me. So Forrest says you can't backward engineer it. Forrest says you need WWWH. This has never been solved. What if you could? Like, no one solved it. So I love you, Forrest, but can Forrest for sure say how it's going to be solved? Or can someone backward engineer it without Forrest understanding and thinking about that? Joel Wiki, over to you.
Yeah, am I muted?
You are not.
Nope.
Okay, good. So this is from the Lure Q&A. Has anyone determined the 9 clues and what they represent? Forrest Fenn's answer. Well, there's about 250,000 people that think they have, and then the crowd laughs. I don't know that anybody has told me the clues in the right order. I think part of the problem is they don't focus on the first clue. If you don't know where the first clue is, you might as well stay home because you're not going to find the treasure chest. You can't go out looking for the blaze and expect to find the treasure chest. There's 10 billion blazes out there. So you have to start with the first clue and let it take you to the blaze.
So he said no one has told him the clues in the right order. Not the location, but
that
just
anybody has told me the clues in the right order.
How did you find that so fast?
Well, first, how
He's
did
a
he not
lawyer.
know? Second,
I know.
I mean, it's WWWH to Blaze, and there's some stuff in between, right? Throwing it out.
So, in other words, warm water halt's where you start, but it's not the first clue.
Oh,
Nine.
it is.
Right? Is that where?
No,
Is that an agreement?
100% not. No, we're not even going down that road.
WWWH is the first clue. Okay, how many, by raise of hands, believe that WWWH is the first clue?
Well,
We
yeah,
know
that's
it's the
where.
first clue, right?
Davio.
Y'all is a bunch of losers.
Sorry, I don't know. where that
Coronavirus.
came- Yeah, right. So yeah, it's the first clue.
Right. Warm water halt's the first clue.
We've never heard that before anywhere
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Wait, all right. So Joel Lewicki, as a lawyer, how would you decipher what he said? Is he saying, is that word speak for people have given me like other clues, but they're not in the right order? Or he's just saying people are reaching, and because they're reaching, you know, like they've gotten some of the clues, but they're not in the right order? Like, are people, so I guess a better way to say that is people are following it logically, but their logic might start at clue 3 and then end at clue 2. And that's not in the right order, so you're not going to find it. But other people are just sort of throwing Hail Marys, and they actually got like 2 of the clues, and that's just not in the right order. Or is that a terrible analogy?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Oh, geez. No, we'll be here all night.
The stream of thought more than the question.
Blah.
So first of all, Forrest Fenn speak is very different than anything else you encounter in life. But he's very purposeful and I think thought out in how he responds to stuff. And he's told us elsewhere that it's difficult to follow the clues.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, maybe the interpretation of the correct interpretation of a clue is what's out of order, not the clues themselves.
Exactly.
Maybe people know, what the order of the clues is. They just haven't told him the correct order because no one's gotten all of them in the right order. Maybe some people are close on the first part. Maybe some people are close on the last part, and they don't have all of it. So no one's given. I don't know that anybody's given me the clues in the correct order.
But if they're close on the last part, wouldn't that mean that they can backwards engineer it?
Obviously not, because there's 10 billion blazes out there, Kpro. He just said it in the quote I read.
Well, yeah, why are we even on this panel? I'm just kidding.
He said you could do that with Home of Brown.
I'm kidding.
That if you knew Home of Brown, you wouldn't be where warm waters halt. He
But-
has said that, but he hasn't said that about any other clue.
I think, but I think what he meant was if you have the correct Homa Brown, well, why would you need where warm waters halt? The problem is
Why are
you
concerned
don't
about
know.
that?
Yeah.
And that's what he said, yeah.
The problem is you're never going to know if you have the correct Homa Brown. If I have the correct blaze, well, guess what? I don't need the other 8 clues, but there's no way for me to get the correct blaze without the other 8 clues.
Well, that's why the answer
Michael,
is.
did you send Forrest the link?
I did.
I forgot. Okay, great.
And what he said was,
I didn't know they made 9th place ribbons.
there's only going to be one winner, so it's just...
Hi, Forrest.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So what I couldn't hear before. So warm waters halt's the first clue, but you guys think that's the same place where you start, or are they 2 separate things? Where you start in the first clue, are they
Well,
the
that's when
same
you
thing?
get out of your car.
Well,
I feel like the answer to the first clue is in the poem itself, and it's the Home of Brown. So when you start the chase, you have to go to the Home of Brown, and when you're at the Home of Brown, that's where warm waters halt. So technically, when it says begin where warm waters halt, and you start at Home of Brown, you got them both knocked off.
but what about the canyon? There is a separation between the two because there's a canyon you have to go down, right?
Yeah, but it's not like what you think it is. It's geographical features. It's not just like you have to go to place of the canyon. I feel like it's all, like you said, it's one specific place. So the Home of Brown is a creek, and the creek just happens to be at a spot where the river runs through the canyon.
Almost circular, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's
Nuclear.
possible, yeah.
Nuclear. Is that what George W. said? Nuclear?
Right.
Yeah, he mispronounced it terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nuclear.
Yeah, nuclear.
Yeah.
Davio, I think it's wise to keep asking those questions and not to make assumptions. I think that's good stuff.
Right. I'm not.
I think people blow the quote about if I told you who Brown was, you'd go right to the treasure. I think they blow that way out of proportion.
Agreed.
I think that's Forrest just advertising.
Meeting adjourned.
I don't think there's anything to that.
I think he's advertising when he says 500 and 200 too. I think that's really gets people excited and they want to hurry up because I found those to be referencing something else.
I think he was advertising when he told me, Joel, I think you're the closest. I mean,
I think so. I think
He was
that,
advertising when he wrote TTOTC.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, do you think that
Question
when
is,
Forrest
what
said
was
he
the
had a gut feeling that it mattered, that actually, was that advertising or was that he believed someone was close?
I think he's playing with people because he can. How fun.
Well, okay, so let's take this last scrapbook. Here's the thing that I love, in my opinion, about Forrest. I had at least 20 people and I saw a bunch of posts. This is about me. And here's why. And then they gave the quote, they gave the, this happened and that means this happened because I told them that happened in my life and this is about me. And they've done that for hundreds, if not, or tens, if not hundreds. Do you think Forrest is talking to individual searchers when he talks about the scrapbooks, or is it more general where he talks to hundreds of us? I've done it where I was like, oh, I just talked to him last week about this or yesterday about that. Do you think he's talking to us individually or not?
I feel like someone's figured it out, but only on paper. They haven't figured it out with boots on the ground. So they're probably like me or something where they sometimes occasionally will send a solve where they're thinking out loud just to let Ben know that they're progressing into the chase that they think. So I think someone has it figured out on paper, but when they get there, or if they even have gone back, they don't know what they have or what to do with it. So I think that's why he's just like, my gut feeling's wavering after. Just in my opinion.
He might be putting stuff out to kind of speed this up if you figured a whole bunch of things out. He may be putting something out there to kind of help somebody along if these numbers are right. I mean, these are some very specific numbers he's putting out there. So,
okay, I want to call some people out. So one of the things that I think we don't do is look at techniques as much as individual Homa Brown, Blaze, WWWH. One of the things that I think AJ does is try to make us think differently. And I want to call you out to say, well, yeah, nice. I want to say, like, what do you think as an outsider, even though you say you're not a Forrest Fenn treasure hunter.
You already got the beard. You don't need that.
What do you believe we're missing, or a technique we're missing, or he's eluded hundreds of thousands of people over a decade now? What do you believe could be? I mean, it's not a simple riddle. We're having such fun with riddles and things on your channel. What do you think we're missing when it comes to? He says there's an important thing we're missing. What's your outsider's view? Because I think that's more fascinating than all of us that are so immersed in it.
My outsider view is that it's probably very simple, and it could be something that we're just looking at one thing the wrong way, or you're going down one path and you just take the wrong angle and you're going down the wrong path. Meanwhile, he says, oh, you had it right there, and we just went the wrong way. The reason I watch these shows, even though I'm not working on the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt, because I just want to see different angles, way people think of certain things. And there are so many cases, whether it's on this show or on the forum somewhere, you read or you listen to something, so, wow, I never would have thought of that. So I think, oh, okay, I never thought about that. And I'm thinking maybe by watching these shows, and I'm thinking that's what everybody else is watching these shows for, or read the forums, they're looking for that little angles, like, oh, I never thought of that perspective. And that's on my show with the puzzles and riddles. Yes, we have some fun, but it's to take those word, like maybe that word meaning you never thought about that. And somebody mentions like, oh, well, Blaze can mean this and this, but have you ever thought about this? Oh, wow, never thought about that.
Alan K just gave you 4 cookies in the chat.
And we split those because our channel and then your.
Yeah, there you go. He's got them queued up.
It's interesting because I do go in as much as I can. I would say 90% of the time I'm in your chat every week. And I have done escape rooms before your channel and after your channel. And I can tell you there's this really big difference, not only with me, but Kpro. Kpro, when we were in one of the riddles, he's like, let me think about that one guy's channel. He doesn't remember the people, but he's like, let me think of it differently. Mm-hmm. And that's more than anything. I really appreciate your channel because of that.
In the escape rooms, there's not just riddles, but there's codes. Yep. And those codes, you don't come across them all the time, but it's more just recognizing that there is a code. Mm-hmm. Now, I know there's not necessarily, this is the Forrest Fenn channel. We're talking about Forrest Fenn. There's no codes in Forrest Fenn's poem. So don't, there's no codes, but I'm just saying codes are one of those ways that you can, hide something in text or words.
Don't
or
tell
pictures
Randy that.
Or music.
Well, let me ask you this. All the vlogs, in my opinion, are entertainment, but has anybody on here actually gotten something out of it where you've thought of something like, oh, I never thought of it that way? Has anybody got something valuable or useful when it comes to the poem out of any of the vlogs that are out there? Just watching YouTube, Forrest Fenn shows.
Well, I like that guy. His name's Smell the Sunshine on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have looked at him. He's kind of new. He has like 100 subscribers, but he does kind of good videos where he makes you step back and think from a different perspective. And he was just doing something the other day about like, is it possible that Fenn extended the search area because somebody got close to finding it? So he was talking about like, what if it really is New Mexico? Someone got close to finding it. So then he extended it from north of Santa Fe to the Rocky Mountains. And so he was showing like actual facts backed up with proof and quotes from Fenn where there's not a possibility that it was just strictly New Mexico, because he goes and talks about like the reporter from 2011 where he finds out about Montana. So he just like finds different ways to see things differently than what we see. So he's got a good channel going on.
Well, I'll chime in before others do, but I find, and maybe this is the part of me that understands we're going to need everybody's thoughts. You walking through Try the Wheel, Mike, the riddles that you bring in, Joel, I've spent many hours talking with you that you see the world so different. You're a little bit more literal, but you pick up on little words and phrases. It's like, no, that can't be a coincidence. You're right. And I never picked up on that. Davio, you have imagination that I didn't even like, I don't even know if I understand what you're saying, but I'm so on board because you're so convinced. And every single one of you I have met or talked to in one way, this is where I'm going to tell Forrest Fenn, you're wrong. It's not entertainment. It is a different way of thinking. And the only way, in my opinion, you're going to think differently is to have experiences with other people that either are smarter, not as smart, different experiences, however you define smart. Kids, I think the only way we're going to crack this is through the blogs, the social interactions, the sharing of ideas. I don't necessarily care that Davio cares about the periodic table. I care that he tells me why in that thought process, because then I go, oh, I might be able to use that over here on something totally different. And I actually think Forrest is completely wrong. I'm sorry, because I still love you, Forrest. I think it's going to take groupthink or some group thinking to get there. Over to you, Joel.
He didn't say that you can only read the blogs for fun. He said read the blogs for fun and read the poem like you're trying to find a treasure chest. Yeah. It's not that you can't learn anything from it. He's not saying that. He's just saying don't get bogged down with what other people are saying. Focus on the poem. But that's not to say there's not good quality stuff that's out there.
Yeah. Well, the best for me was when I said to Kpro, we were out on another hunt, and I said to Kpro when he said there was a bend, it was the poem said it was a bend. I thought it was in the road. He thought it was in the tree limb. And I'm like, stop it. Let's keep going. Like, don't be silly. And it happened to be right there. And he's like, so if we go Forrest Fenn boots on the ground, can you please listen? Like, that was such a good lesson to me. Never discount anybody, because it's just, I don't know. And Shadow completely disagrees with me, and that's okay, because you can be wrong too, Shadow, just like Forrest.
I feel like imagination's best explained when you have an idea that people say is completely like not probable or anything, and you stick with it. Because like Lewis and Clark, they were told that there's no like mountains out there, and they didn't know where they were going, and they ended up going there anyway, and that's why we now have a map of the Rocky Mountains. Like, if someone told them not to use their imagination, we wouldn't have been able to explore all this.
You two brothers just stick to those bicycles. Don't mess around with those airplane things. You kids, stick with the bicycles.
All right, we had a request from the chat. Logical Searcher, Walking Among Lions. They want you to weigh in. Have you ever gotten anything out of any of the YouTube videos? maybe made you think of something that you never thought of before? Or is it just you just watch for entertainment value?
No,
I'll be honest. I'm going to give a little shout out to Toby Jonas. He actually gave me a nugget, about a year ago. It was on one of the programs, and kind of like Christy, I look at it as like a puzzle, and everybody has different opinions, and they have different topics and different discussion points. And as everybody's talking, I'll listen, and eventually I'll clue in on one point or another, and I'll grab that piece and I'll put it into my own puzzle, in my own imagination, my mind, and I'll see if that piece fits. And if it fits, and if it helps me complete the next step in my map journey, then I'll keep that. And it was the one that Toby gave me. It actually clued me in on how to interpret Fenn's clues a little bit more precisely. So when Toby released that, I had never considered it. I mean, I'd had other breadcrumbs that I'd been following, but that breadcrumb he gave me, he didn't personally give it to me. He just announced it on one of the shows, and when I plugged that in, it fit well with mine. So, yes, the shows have been helpful because I'm able to pick and choose different points of views and then apply them to my brainstorming and to my puzzle and to my map and see if it fits. In some cases it fits, and sometimes it doesn't.
What do you think, Logical Searcher?
No, definitely. I think kind of what Walking Among the Lions said there. I've come across a couple of different things on the forums or even the Facebook groups. Just recently, I think somebody was mentioning about, it kind of sent me down a path looking at the Romanesque view of the treasure chest and actually what that meant. And, the Romanesque art and that kind of thing is more pictorial and biblical in subject. So I was kind of looking at it from that angle, and then which sent me down a weird path and came across a quote from Forrest about what is the difference between buried, entombed, and sepultured. And I have a little bit of a Texas accent, so if I say poem or poem, that's the same thing. I'm right there with you. My wife laughs at me all the time about it. But what is the difference between, buried, entombed, and sepultured? And so I was kind of looking up those different words and came across that sepultured can mean a cavity.
Is that not sepulchered?
Or sepulchered? It could be
sepulchered. No, is it
no,
sepulchered?
it's different.
Tomato,
It's
tomato.
yeah.
I don't know. Grapefruit.
I don't know.
Sepultured and sepulcher. Yeah.
Vodka. I don't know.
But sepulture is a tomb or a grave or a burial place, a cavity, an immense structure, or a recess. Which that was really interesting to me that it was described as a recess, because that's another word, and I'm sure all of us have looked at the nouns over and over again. A recess can be described as a creek. So no paddle up your creek, you're looking for a possible recess. Why did he say that he didn't bury it, that he hid it? It kind of reminds me a little bit of the old catacombs, where they would lay the body on a shelf or a recess, and he would lay right down next to the treasure chest. I mean, is it possible that he came across, when he was looking for arrowheads, in a dry creek bed or a creek bed, that he came across a spot where he was like, that's where I want to eventually come back to. And, maybe that's why we need wisdom in order to find the blaze as we're walking up that creek towards Heavy Loads and Water High. And I think that's just my opinion, that you'll probably find the blaze before you get to the Heavy Loads and Water High. That's why it takes wisdom, because you can stand in a street and see the dead end. I mean, and he could give you the clues that you're standing in the right spot and still see the Heavy Loads and Water High, but it takes wisdom to know, hey, I don't have to go to the dead end in order to be there. If that makes any sense.
Let me ask a question for everybody in the room. I'd like everybody to answer this. What is the one thing, the one video, the one post, the one Facebook, the one Reddit, the one whatever, that made you pause and say, I didn't think about that. I need to now take a pause and really get some good nugget or different way of thinking, clue, hint, whatever the word is. What is your piece? I want to answer last, but what is your one that you went, oh, hold on a second. I didn't think of that. Not that it's profound, not that it just, you didn't think about it that way. Logic searcher, let's start with you. Logical searcher, because you're not logic searcher. And I've had that problem because I get emails from both of you. So logical searcher.
Sure. So I think one of the ones, and I wish I would have known about this last year, having done a couple boots on the ground, but I think it was the Newsweek interview from Forrest Fenn, and I ended up hearing it on a video, I think, from one of y'all that talked about how he said he, as a 79, 80-year-old, he's not going to go up a canyon, down a canyon, up a canyon, down a canyon.
Mm-hmm.
That really kind of helped me a lot to eliminate a lot of different areas, and a kind of a light bulb goes off because, having visited West Yellowstone, even, New Mexico and stuff like that, I'm going, ooh, okay, that can really kind of change things for me. So.
Okay, others? Everybody has to go. I'll call you out later. Davia.
The Toby Eunice video at the bookstore, the entire video, really
Moby Dickens.
Pretty of the man. He was for real.
Mm-hmm.
He really put that out there in my mind. It really seemed like he was playing poker in that moment. You know what I mean? He's not giving away. He's trying to manage his tells. He really seemed like he was, I don't know. There's just a lot. It was just the most I got out of the whole thing was from that one video.
Okay.
And,
Who else? You all need to go. Mike, I'm calling you out. Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. Cowlazars.
Yeah, I was going to say. I thought our interview we did was pretty good. Shameless plug. But there's one, it's not a YouTube video, but it was in Cynthia's book that I got from her at the World Series of Fenn. And in the book, it talks about Forrest's statement where he says I'm probably going to botch it, but there's hundreds of places where warm waters halt north of Santa Fe. Look at the big picture. And I always thought when he said look at the big picture, he meant on a map, look at all 4 states. And in Cynthia's book, she pointed out, in her opinion, that he meant look at the poem. Look at the big picture of the poem. It takes all the stanzas to find it. I'd never thought of it that way before. It just never occurred to me that look at the big picture meant look at the entirety of the poem. Because she pointed out that the context of the original question was, if all I have is begin at where warm waters halt and a map, can I figure it out? And he says, no, there's 1,000 of those. Look at the big picture, meaning look at the poem, all of it, first stanza. So that was one for me where it's just something I never looked at it that way before. So go buy Cynthia's book, I guess.
Mandy, what about you?
So my favorite quote from Fenn, and the quote that really got my butt in gear with looking more into it, was the person who finds the treasure will have studied the poem over and over and thought and analyzed and moved with confidence. Nothing about it will be accidental. T.S. Eliot said, we shall not cease from our exploration, and at the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. That's why I think the poem itself is structured in a way where all the answers are right there staring at you in your face. And with the whole T.S. Eliot poem, you arrive where you began. I think that the blaze, again, is it. So I feel like when he says, if you've been wise and found the blaze, just because it's at the end of the poem doesn't mean it's the last clue. I know he says that, when you get to the last clue, look quickly down. Doesn't technically mean it's the blaze itself. It could be heavy loads, water high. We don't know. That's what's so great about grammar. It's past tense, if you've been wise. So what would be more mind-blowing if the person who actually solves this thing and finds the chest, turns out they're the one that figured out when they went to Homer Brown and got where warm waters halt, the answer to it was the blaze. So that brings you full circle in your journey as well as in the poem. So that's just how I think of things.
Okay, Joel?
Yeah, not even a competition at all. Mike's yogurt eating video. Definitely.
How not to eat yogurt.
Everything. That one's up here.
Well, more importantly, what does Victoria think?
Exactly.
Do you watch the vlogs? I don't even know. Do you watch the videos?
I watch some, yeah. I process most. Well, it's not really an answer. We process in the car a lot. So.
Oh, okay.
After the blogs, after reading, and then we work.
What about you, AJ? Do you watch enough of the details of the individual posts and videos to weigh in?
I have a favorite thing that I found on, I believe it was the Facebook group Grand Adventure, Forrest Fenn's Grand Adventure. It was a research paper called Treasure Hunting as an American Subculture, The Thrill of the Chase by Alan King. This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I found it pretty fascinating. It talks about, of course, the Forrest Fenn chase, talks about, the psychology of the treasure hunters, where there's certain levels, there's certain people that go for a little bit. Maybe they do one boots on the ground and then they say, okay, that's it. I didn't find it. The people that go multiple trips. And I'm not a psychologist, I'm an engineer, but I thought it was really interesting on the psychology part of the people that do this. I wear a silly hat because to me, this is fun. We're a lot of people are stuck indoors and we're out here to have some fun, but some people take it a little too seriously. And this is what they also talk about in the paper. I recommend anybody who wants to read it. It's called Treasure Hunting as an American Subculture, The Thrill of the Chase by Alan King. And
is that Alan K?
Nope. I've been in touch with Alan King, and I know he has caught some of the negative because of it, so that'll be his last piece. But if you ever want to get back into it, I would be up for some joint research. He did some really good things, and it's really fascinating.
And what Facebook group was that in, AJ?
Oh,
Fenn's Grand Adventure.
Oh, there we go. That's a good group to join. Okay.
Formerly called Cowlazars Grand Adventure, I think was the previous name, something like that.
I should just call it the Treasure Hunting Amusement Park. That should be the name, huh?
So what do you think? House Husband Diaries, Carter? Have you answered yet? I don't think so.
I know I have not answered. So, I mean, this goes back to the beginning for me was to not be a homer on this channel, but is your very own Mike Cowlazars. I mean, he was doing these vlogs with his coffee, and that was it. Like years ago. I don't even know how many years ago that was, and I just stumbled upon it.
You have a brain like a chicken.
Yeah, coronavirus was way before coronavirus. And
right.
It was like, it was just very genuine to me. It was like, hey, here's this book. I was looking for something to do. I was transitioning from managing a team of 25 people to becoming the house husband, formerly known the house husband, now known as the House Husband Diaries. And Mike was just very genuine. I'm here. I like coffee. And that was, it was just kind of like, I don't know, it was genuine. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, let me watch this. Let me see. And then I kind of went on from there, and the whole chase from there has been an adventure for me of digging into, okay, let me get everything that, Davio has said, everything that Toby has said, everything that Kpro and Cow has said, everything that anybody has said when they've come on and tried to pare it down and let me try to find my solve. And as, all the different people walking among lions and everything, like I don't really have a solve that I try to fit things into. I'm trying to just take kind of all of the information that I can find and then parse out things that don't make sense, and then put whatever I have, then go, okay, here's information, and then I'll get back to it later. So I don't really have, I don't have anything.
It's still a sea of things. Okay, me.
See.
Hi. So as far as moving forward in the chase, there's a lot of good stuff out there, and sometimes I'll be in a chat or on a forum, and there will be some gem that someone will just share. Oh, they shared that. But I would say the big consistent place I've found helpful information is on Jenny Kyle's Mysterious Writings website. She asks insightful questions of Forrest, and I know that stopped a while ago, aside from the one that surprised us, I think, in February. But in his answers to those questions, I've been able to analyze them and I think learn some about him and how he wants us to approach the poem.
Okay, cool. Walking Among Lions. Over to you.
And you're muted.
And you're muted.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
do that at work too.
Yeah.
So for me, I've had many of those aha moments from both watching the shows, but actually the one that actually got me inspired to go do boots on the grounds was totally unrelated to any of the shows. It was actually somebody had posted a photo online. I mean, I was out there for months, if not a couple of years, looking for photographs of my search area, other than just Google Earth. And eventually, I think it was in 2015, I finally found a photo. Somebody took a picture of my exact location from ground level. And I was able to clue in on something in that area that got my attention, and that got me out the door.
Now, was that a searcher, or was that like a random Google Earth or a?
No, it was just a random person that happened to take a picture. I was just I'd go on to Flickr, I'd go on to Vimeo, and I would search on some keywords, and eventually I just I clued in on a keyword for my area. And for years before that, I didn't find anything. And then it was 2015. There was one picture, and I was just like, oh my God, there it is. There's my spot that I want to go look at. And I saw something in the picture, and it got my attention. And, next thing I know, I'm spending thousands of dollars on camping gear and hiking gear, and I'm heading out to New Mexico. And, but it wasn't until last year, after the Dizzy Dean.
No. And what happened? You went there.
He doesn't have the check.
Oh, I went there, and I failed like everybody else. But I found enough that got me coming back to the same spot year after year. But it wasn't until the Dizzy Dean article that came out that I started to focus on a specific target. And so now I got to go back one more time.
Just one more time. Okay.
One more time.
William, what about you?
Oh, what was the question?
William just joined. Yeah.
You've been in the search a long time, and you've been on the forums and the Facebook and the blogs and YouTube and all that. What is your number one that you took away, maybe that made you think differently or saw things differently, a hint, a clue, something to say, the blogs aren't only for entertainment. It's something that gave you a little nugget of to think differently, or, again, a hint or a clue. Or it's just not worth anything.
Mostly us as a collective. Everybody thinks in different ways. It's a matter of perspective on how you look at something. Sorry, guys, I'm a sloppy mess.
What, are you in bed right now?
Coronavirus. No, I'm on my back patio. Yeah, we've been fighting. I don't know if it's coronavirus or not, but we've been fighting flu or something for the last probably about a week and a half now.
About 14 days?
Yeah, it's been about, but we live in Tampa Bay area. It's probably about a city, about 4 million people, and literally for our whole city, there's only like 50 tests that they're allowed to give, and so they don't test everybody. So me and the wife and my youngest son just decide to self-quarantine ourselves just to kind of surpass to get through it. But
yeah, there's a few of us in that category, and we're going to go talk on Carter's channel soon about exactly that.
I was gonna say maybe potentially my best friend may or may not be an ER doc in the Tampa Bay area. Just FYI. So if you need to go, just let me know. Carter at HH Diaries. Seriously, just email me. He does work in that vicinity, sort of like in Tampa Bay, but maybe that area,
And anybody in the chat room, no,
you
just
gave
kidding.
me like, okay, so William's in now, and 300.
If you have a problem, but you're in Raleigh, Durham.
Well, the thing of it is you can't go to the ER. They won't test you there. Our doctor, instead of showing up at our doctor's, we called him, and he's like, "Yeah, you have to go to the health department." So you go to the health, or you call the health department. They're like, "Yeah, unless you're physically dying, we can't test you." I'm like, "Well, that's kind of that's I mean,
unless you're in the NBA. If you're in the NBA, you can totally get tested."
Dude, I'm short and fat. No, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm screwed when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give mine. AGK did a video maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 or 4. What if Forrest had passed the day after he put out the TTOTC book signing videos and the poem? Like, we wouldn't, that was his plan. Everything else is either could be marketing, could be skullduggery, could be shenanigans, could be legit. There's so much on after that, but we have to put that as noise. I always put that in my mind is, was it something before 2010? The other one, I want to give a shout out to Illinois Ghost, who put out a video. I can't get it out of my mind, even though I'm not searching in New Mexico, of way, way, way back when. This was just a little tiny bookstore putting out TTOTC, a little tiny community, and it was north of Santa Fe. And it wasn't north of Santa Fe up to the border. It wasn't north of it. So it really kind of lends to New Mexico. New Mexico is like the little thing in the back of my head. I just can't let go. I'm not searching there. But those are the two videos that I go, those stick out to me. There's always something, and somebody said there's a little kernel of something in a lot of videos. That's why that's why I like the community. But those are the two that I go, those have a profound impact on me, because I want New Mexico to fit for me. It's easier. I could go see Forrest, etc. But what if Forrest passed after? And I actually emailed Forrest and said, Toby is this terrible person. He wants you to die. And he's like, no, he's saying that I might pass one day. And that's okay, Kpro. Like, it's going to happen. I'm not a god. I'm not invincible. Like, don't give Toby such a hard time. And we had that little interchange about it's okay to talk about when Toby passes. We talk about it now, and people give me a hard time. And I laugh because I think, oh, Forrest said, don't worry. Like, he's going to pass one day. We're not hoping for it, but it's going to be inevitable what's going to happen. So.
Then Forrest said,
I wish you weren't a liar.
Shame on you.
Coronavirus. In my opinion, if Forrest never said another word after the book came out way back in 2010, whether because he passed on or just because he decided to do the treasure hunt that way, I don't think anybody would be closer. I don't think it would have somehow been found. I think the things that he's put out through the scrapbooks and the interviews he's done and the searchers he's met and everything else has just made the hunt that much bigger. It's gotten the word out and more people are involved.
Well, no, but he's ruled out entire states. That has to help. In my opinion, that has to help. Like, if he ruled out, let's just say for the sake of discussion, if he ruled out New Mexico, that would take a lot of New Mexico searchers either to quit or go elsewhere. I think that would help the refine. Like, if he said, let's just say for sake of discussion, it's in the Yellowstone Park. It's absolutely going to help us refine. Yeah, Candy's like, oh yeah. That's going to absolutely help it. Not saying that he will, because God knows he won't,
But you know what he said. He hasn't told anybody anything to get them closer to the treasure chest. He's told things that have eliminated areas. He's told certain people maybe their solves are wrong, but none of that helps anybody get closer to the treasure chest, in my opinion, anyway.
Chapter. This is In Love with Yellowstone, just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, well, when we first started, pretty much the lower 48s and the other states and Canada was in play. You got to figure we wasn't even narrowed down to the Rockies when we first started.
Right.
True. So, and he
There's not a whole lot of mountains in the middle of the
So
US.
does everything beyond the thrill of the chase help or hinder us in the search? I am starting to really think that there are hints in those other resources, but he said that his book, his Thrill of the Chase book, could lead an average searcher to the chest, right?
Yes.
So how do you reconcile that? What do you do?
How can he say that when it's never, someone said it, and I brought this up earlier. No one's ever solved this. So how can he say how it's going to be solved?
Are we following his instructions? Are we doing what he said to do, though?
I think there's
Some
hundreds of thousands
people.
of us that have. In my opinion, I think they read the poem. I had an old search partner. I sent TTOTC. He sent it back because he just wanted to focus on the poem. I think many have. I think many only focus on TTOTC. Some are kitchen sink, look at every single word he's ever said, known to man.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are at least in my opinion, 100,000 different ways that people have tried to analyze this and they haven't cracked it. It seems, I think Forrest is smart. I don't think he's brilliant at the level that we're talking to. I think he's clever. So I don't think it's some advanced math cracking a code. I think it's something simple we're all missing.
He was in physics club.
Yeah,
Forrest
but you got
was
to
in
figure he
physics
also dummied the home down for people like me. You got to figure like Joel, you know, which passed the Minnesota bar, you know, law bar, which you know, God rest him. He's a brilliant, intelligent person, but you got to figure he dummied it down. He dummied the poem down for people like me with, you know, 12 kids. And
average redneck. Right. Joel, go ahead.
Yeah.
You raised your hand. Go ahead. And Victoria, go ahead.
I was going to give my actual 2. It wasn't your yogurt video.
Oh. What?
That was brilliant. So
And you're muted. Oh, go ahead.
And you're kicked out. No, so the first one was the interview that he did with Mary Catherine Gallagher, whatever her name is, that
Lorraine Mills
did the Radio Cafe interview on October 25th, 2010, which is when the book was coming out. There was going to be this signing.
Lorraine Mills? Yeah.
No, it was before that.
Oh, okay.
It was Collected Words, or I don't know. No, it was the Radio Cafe or something.
I'll leave it open.
You can find it online. In that, she says, she like summarizes and says, you found some grave markers in Vietnam. Can you tell us that story? And he was kind of like, you mean, can I tell you the whole book? Like, so there's some parts of that made me think quite a bit about why he was doing this treasure hunt and writing his memoir the way that he did. And then the other one is the Moby Dickens video that I think Davio maybe mentioned, the AGK Moby Dickens video, which I've listened to an embarrassingly large number of times.
All right, we got a question for Davio and for Meeps. This is from somebody in the chat called Two Trips. They want to know if either one of you have ever searched in Morrison Canyon in Colorado. Does that sound familiar to either one of you? No, I lost where it is in the chat.
I know the place. I have not searched there.
No.
I haven't had a reason to yet, but I'll look it up.
That's a big yes.
We were talking about the first clue. You know, do we start or is the first clue beginning with warm waters hot? Well, yet another question. What is the last clue? Is the last clue I give you title to the gold? Because you can't reverse engineer something if you don't know where it ends, right? So
well, we know you already have it in your hand with Terry Scant, right? It's already in your hand because you're getting the hell out of there with it. So Terry Scant, I believe the hint when they say, what does Terry Scant mean? It means get the hell out of there. You have the treasure chest. It has to be before Terry Scant, in my opinion.
Demonetized.
Nice.
Let me just sit and drink.
But then it begs the question, if that's true, what are the 5th and 6th stanzas for? Is he trying to tell a story that's outside of finding the treasure chest?
I think there's hints in the poem that help you with the clues.
Isn't it's all still supposed to be in these 24 lines?
I never reconciled why he named the chest. Well, theoretically, the chest is described in 4 or 5 different ways in the poem. If that's the case, maybe we're not thinking of chest as the same as trove or
riches,
treasures,
gold, trove. Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question I would like to ask everyone. One of the things that we had as a part of the interview for the documentary was, I think there was probably 100 questions asked, and there was probably, I'm just going to guess, at least 15, maybe 20 that were not answered, or they were answered with, I cannot answer that, I will not answer that, I don't want to go there, etc. Do you think that there is value in the questions that Forrest does not answer?
Yes.
Okay, so that
Absolutely.
would be helpful. Perhaps that is something that would never hit the documentary that I hadn't thought of to give to the searchers, but that just came up this week that I thought maybe would be something fun. Now, did you guys all see what Douglas Preston's PSA out today? I put it on the Grand Adventure. I put it on Thor. Did anybody not see it?
I didn't watch it. I saw the link, but I didn't watch it.
Okay, so basically what he has said is it is time, as we are quarantined, self-quarantined, not out as much, get out and buy a book from a lesser known author than him. But this is the time to put a few books in front of you. He said, don't get on social media, except for some of the things going on. I agree with him. But he's really putting out a PSA because he's head of a Writers Guild or something. So I want to say, if you go to Thor and go to the Facebook pages, I think I put on Galore and Grand Adventure. So a little bit of it's about 60 seconds. And I think it really shows that's where he is dedicated to. So, and he has a new book coming out. It's not out yet, but it's on another treasure hunt. So I think it's going to be fun and interesting.
All right. Maybe you guys have heard this, but it's breaking news to me. BLM National Park Service temporarily waiving their entrance fees. Anybody hear this before?
That's good news.
Yeah. Opens up the country's many national parks, national historic parks. As part of social distancing, they figure go out by yourself in a park, I guess. So that means Yellowstone, right? They're waiving the fees to get into Yellowstone?
Wait, you said it's confusing to me. BLM has said that national parks and state parks are going to be free?
Son of a, hang on.
Okay.
No, they're waiving the fees to national parks.
They're
what?
open?
And BLM, it said. Right.
That's great. That doesn't mean the concessions are open. That means the entry to get in. So
right.
Get in there. If you don't bring your own food, you're just dodgy on what's available. But
Bring your own bathroom.
I just read that they shut down Mammoth Springs yesterday and a few of the other super popular areas.
I was say that's odd to me. Go to Old Faithful. We didn't even go there, Mike, because it was too crowded when we were trying to get there. But Prismatic Springs we got to, but do you remember we were lined up like cattle?
There was a lot of people, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if you're supposed to have someone 6 feet from you, we have classrooms of our classrooms max at 25 for my university. We're not supposed to have more than 6 in a room because they have to be more than 6 feet apart. I'm surprised by that, but maybe.
So just to make it clear, the National Park Service will no longer collect entrance fees for its parks that remain open during the coronavirus outbreak.
I would think by the time it's travel vacation season and the weather's actually nice enough, they'll do some type of filtering system like they did it in other countries at grocery stores and stuff, 10 at a time or something to this site, or I don't know. I mean, if it's still bad by then, right now they're not going to have a population problem.
Hey, Mike, would you please open the phone lines? Because Shadow, who works at Yellowstone, would like to call in.
Okay. Give me a minute.
And no offense to anybody else. Can you guys wait to call in? Because we'd like to just have Shadow. And then maybe we leave it open for everybody else. But Shadow actually works at or is going to work at Yellowstone or in the Yellowstone area, etc. So as we're waiting for that, I do want to say Tony Henman is out there. Tony Henman is the one that gave me this. My daughter has her first real necklace and she cried when she got it. She's 13. Meeps, if you are okay with me giving you his email, he is trying to pay it forward to many people. And so Meeps, he would like to talk to you or email. If you're okay, I'll send him your email because he would like to send you a really cool necklace.
Really awesome. Sure.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
Detroit, hello.
Okay, so that means the phone lines are open.
Is that sexist?
Is he?
Absolutely. Deal with it. We're 15% under what you make when we do the exact same job.
Uh-oh. Oh, here we go.
What?
Let me go make some more coffee.
Coffee makes me a mite nervous when I...
There it is.
I can't monetize.
Kpro, Cow, and everybody else.
Hey, it's Shadowcaster.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Sitting out here. Just found out that the concessionaires have shut down all services until the 22nd of May is the tentative date right now that they may open.
Oh, then that's Sunday. I mean, of May. Sorry. I missed the May part.
A couple months out.
Now, would you say a lot of people go to Yellowstone before May anyway? I mean, is it normally open?
Wait, doesn't that contradict what we just said?
No. Entrance fees are waived, not anything else. Just the entrance fee. If people do want to go.
And that's probably, I would say they did that mainly to protect the people that collect the fees at the gate for no other reason.
Yeah,
it just limits the contact. And they're not having any service. So there's no food, there's no lodging, there's no guest services. I can't imagine they're shutting the bathrooms down, but I would hope not.
Bring your own toilet paper, though. Be safe.
But it'll make it easier to go search. You're in and out. You don't have to deal with anybody, I guess. I don't know.
Right, but you still don't want to be taking liberties, behind the outhouse. Keep the outhouses open at least.
Yeah, I imagine they will.
And Michael Wimmer says, no bears. No, the bears are still there, so you still got to be careful.
Yeah, they might hold them in the cages for a little longer this year, maybe. I don't know. I'm kidding, y'all. I'm kidding. They're definitely not turning into an Old Faithful, though.
And Captain Marvel reminds us that taxes are not due until July now. Is that true? Is that how long they extended it for? Till July?
We just got
I have no
extension.
Yeah, 90 days.
Myself and the
for
IRS,
everybody.
We don't get along very well.
Okay. Definitely a different world now than what we're used to.
But yeah, no, by all means, people, Yellowstone is open. There's just no services. There's no visitor center. You can't gather at the Boiling River to soak in the river. That's the first thing that Yellowstone shuts down anytime anything comes around, just because the Park Service doesn't like dealing with the guests that are hanging out down there.
But we all know the chest isn't inside Yellowstone, so it's a moot point, right? Who's with me?
Yeah, I mean,
yes, sir.
It's definitely not in Yellowstone.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what I thought.
Boo.
Yeah, I was going to say, all right. Candy says no.
Can I get my park entrance fee from Grand Teton and Yellowstone from 18 months ago refunded? When I didn't know about the chase?
I've got about 20 years worth of entrance fees I'd like refunded. I'm running out of money. I'm in between jobs right now. So I left my last job to go to Yellowstone, and now I'm finding out that I might not have a job in Yellowstone until the middle of the summer. So,
yeah, a lot of people are going through that right now. They don't know what their job situation is. Yeah.
I'm not crying, but yeah, I'm in the same position a whole lot of other people are out there right now.
Right.
Yeah, well, and
20%.
That's all right. I've got a fly rod and I've got a rifle. A country boy can survive.
Nice.
I agree.
Yeah, and I will say, even though I love my search peeps, I already told Mike, we are going to do a fundraiser, and it's going to be for the poker peeps, and it's the poker dealers and the poker servers that have all been laid off instantaneously. Again, we will tell all of you guys about it, but we were there for Operation Jamie because of what happened with Jamie. But this one, when you are a blue collar worker working night to night, when you are just laid off instantaneously, that is where we're going to put our fundraising effort. So I just talked to the poker boss there and said, we're doing a fundraiser. I don't know what it is. It might only raise $500, but $500 is more than anything. So that's where we're going to be focusing our efforts. So just know that it's not that we don't love our search peeps, but they were laid off in masses, and it was shocking. And they're not the same as poker players, even though we have some poker player friends. But anyway, that's going to be where we're like, okay, let's go. And Mike's like, what are we doing? I'm like, no, we're doing it. Like we're there. So get the tickets ready, baby. I can't make it to Vegas either. It's going to suck.
So Joel and Victoria said bye. They signed off.
Okay, so, I was going to ask this. Do you guys, so one of the things that I just want to know in general, something that many people have asked that I don't even know if it's a big deal or not, but I want to ask you guys and then I want to ask the room. So for our documentary, Forrest bought in or approved an interviewer to come out to interview him for this documentary. It was not supposed to be me. At the last minute, due to a host of issues, it ended up being me. Is that story important? Is the person that was supposed to do the interview important? Is not why they didn't come out, but how open Forrest was and Douglas was, all of that. Do you think that's important? We've been considering doing a behind the scenes of making of this documentary. I don't even know if that's important or interesting to anybody, but I wanted to ask what you guys thought about that before we even go down that road. So what do you guys think?
Chris, I love you, but why do you keep poking the bear with this documentary? You know they're going to ridicule you no matter which direction you go on it.
So should we just shut down and not talk about the documentary or give out clips at all? Is that what you mean, William?
No. It's just, for some reason the haters are just going to take every little piece and just keep, digging at it. But I would just keep it neutral and just, don't say much about it. And then when it comes out, and everybody's all happy and gleam. But it seems like more that it's talked about, the haters are like, oh, the super secret hints, or the she's got hidden information, or why is she allowed access to certain information, which is mind-boggling to me how they even, why it's even an issue. But for some reason it is.
So do you think, by what you're saying there, do you think we should go silent until the documentary is out with any clips? I'm trying to understand. I'm not trying to pick.
Now, you know me. I love you and Mike to death. I don't send y'all, any emails or messages asking for, any clips or this, that, and another, because, I try to keep it professional on that point, but yeah, I would keep it secret. I just wouldn't say anything because, I mean, much as I would like to see the clips, I would love to see all the clips, but the haters just going to feed on it.
Okay, that's interesting. And you're trying to manipulate. That all those requests that you have, all those extra clips we gave you, that's why you're doing it. Just kidding. Okay, that's William's point of view. Okay. Part of me knows that we're going to catch some hate, but it's truly 93-7. So I'm trying to figure out. I have no problem. Mike and I have no problem because we'll catch a lot less hate if we just completely go silent. We thought we were going to put out about 10 or 15 more clips. We have no problem going silent.
Don't go silent. The people who are the haters are the ones that are miserable, and they think that every single thing Fenn says, even about ketchup, is an answer to the poem. So they're just those people that need to actually go and have an intervention and take a break from it because they're so frustrated they can't understand the answer that they attack you. That is their deal.
Candy's got alternative motives. She wants to see the other 15 clips.
I mean, that, okay? People pick on Kpro all the time, and it's complete BS. So you guys should not go silent. You should put those clips out and make the people who actually care and know what's going on happy, because this is the time we need to be happy. So the haters can just go away for a while.
I think what Candy's trying to say is haters gonna hate. Do your thing, Kpro.
Seriously.
Okay, which one, William? You just flip-flopped on me.
Yeah, but why poke the bear? I mean, like you need the extra problems or the heat from, I wouldn't.
Because we live in America and it's free, and if you want to put out stuff, you put out stuff. That's why you poke the bear.
And it's fun to poke the bear.
People are going to have their opinions.
Grocery store and hang out with 13 people, and that's more than 10. Then I'm going to go to the grocery store, and you know what? Like, forget the bear.
Hey, boo boo, what you got in that pig in that?
I'm poking the bear all day long in the cheese aisle.
People are going to be upset about it because it just takes one person to not like what she's doing, and then the rest are going to follow. So all of us on here, I would assume, are pro documentary. So we're the ones that matter. We're the ones that support you guys. So keep doing it. Don't let the stupid, 7% from that one chat site tear you down.
Going back to your question, I appreciate you being transparent about it. For me, it depends on who this is. Do you think this is relevant in any way? Like, yeah, maybe it's going to come out later, but do you think it's important? Is it relevant?
I do not, but I believe that some do think the person is willing to come out, and but I don't want to put unnecessary hate on an individual.
Right.
But also, it was really exciting for a while, and for as much crap as I got about I didn't ask the right questions, I wasn't expecting to. It was literally 48 hours beforehand, and I was like, Toby, come and sit with me because I don't know how to ask questions. I don't know. I didn't even mean to bring up drama more than actually it was a little bit of fun that I was poking at people, but or just the whole process. Again, I'm just focusing on like Mike's the one that goes, oh yeah, they threw hate, but who cares? They're like terrible individuals. Like, I don't even care about them. So let's just keep why does it bother you at all? And I am not as thick-skinned as him. So that's where I don't know.
You're good.
If it matters, if we need that information, I think that he will help that to get out there eventually.
Yeah, you're good.
So Outcast Searcher has a question. It says, Kpro, in my opinion, your audience for this documentary is right here on your channel. Are you anticipating a bigger audience for the documentary when it is released?
Oh, 100%. The documentary has nothing, well, I won't say nothing to do with the search community. The reason that the clips are important to the search community is they're the ones that we're not targeting at all for the documentary. The documentary, it is a whole different level. It is something about the average man, the average person, the average individual, which we all are, but it's not for you and I to pick apart what did Forrest say.
It's not for the lead searcher.
We don't want those in the documentary because those are for searchers. This documentary is not for searchers. This documentary is to talk about a phenomenon that is at a completely higher level that is so interesting and is such a social phenomenon and something that is look at all of us. We didn't come together because I guarantee, and I might be wrong, 5 years ago, did any of you say, I'm a treasure hunter and that's it? No, we all came together because this came at different levels for us. Maybe one or two of us, like Dale, I think was an actual treasure hunter with Creighton and a few others. But for the most part, out of the hundreds, and maybe Davio, for the other 100,000s of us, we're just average individuals looking for a dream. I mean, it's like, I have a dream. We're more closely connected to Martin Luther King Jr. than we are the treasure hunt. So in that regard, I think we're going to connect to people and dreams more than we are this treasure hunt. So I do think we'll always have a calling, just like the Lure did and others. But if you watch the Lure, any of the others, did you watch it and go, oh, that was not for us? That's how you're going to feel when you see this documentary. Because the good stuff to searchers, we're putting out. The stuff that's to that higher group that might want to see it as a series and go, you guys are kind of an anomaly. You're kind of weird. You're kind of different. Yeah, that's the people that we want. We don't want 100,000 people watching this. We're going to want millions. And we've got a network that, Joel Lewicki, yes, you can come back on if you would like to comment, please.
So, Outcast Searcher, that's really the point of the documentary, is to reach the people who've never heard of Forrest Fenn or the treasure hunt.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly.
then he
That
asked
was
a
my
follow-up
question.
question. He said, do we really think there's a bigger audience out there for this? There have been so many documentaries, TV shows, and news appearances. Why is this one different? I'm assuming he means about Forrest Fenn, documentaries, TV shows, and news appearances. Well, I'll just say, like, I have Netflix, I have HBO Go, and I have Amazon Prime. If there's any documentary about $1 million treasure hunt, I'm in. I'm going to watch it. Because I want to know about it. So it's just, for me, it's more getting the word out to people who've never heard of Forrest Fenn. Now, why is ours different than the other things that have been put out? You want to answer that, Kpro? How is ours going to be different? What's the hook?
The hook that we're trying to make right now, if you look at the ones that have been out there, have been Davio, and here's Davio's life story, and Davio is a special human being, and here is why he is going out. Just like they have spotlighted Cynthia.
Searchers,
Dale,
in other words.
There's like 5 searchers they have really focused on. They have not focused on, in my opinion, to the phenomenon, to the psychological group, to the community. This is not a guy put out a poem and there's 9 people looking for it and here's 5 of their stories. This is a psychological piece that the Davios of the world, the Christies of the world, the Joels of the world, the Christy Meaths of the world, the Carters of the world, the AJ, all of us have come together, and we even have a social community. There's a psychological aspect. None of that has ever been put in and encapsulated. And then if you take that encapsulation and present it to a network that would be interested in a series, look at Gold Rush. There's some guys looking for panning of gold. That ended, I lived in Placerville, the first place that they discovered gold. That ended 100 years ago. Why is there even Gold Rush? Because there's people and a phenomenon that is happening more than just individuals. And there's always going to be a couple of individuals, but there's a culture and there's a psychology that brings people together. So I'm going to get off my soapbox and.
Well, I look at it as, I think we should almost name the documentary, which we haven't even talked about this, but The Thrill of the Chase 10 years later. In other words, Forrest wrote a poem in a book 10 years ago, but what is The Thrill of the Chase now? Now it's all these YouTube videos, it's all these blogs, it's a whole community. It's evolved into something more than just a treasure hunt. So I don't know if we can fit all that into the documentary, but I think that's more interesting than just, here's the guy who wrote a poem, go find it. Because that's been done.
Wait, hold on, William, hold on. If we kick Joel off right now, and if he comes back on, will he have less clothes on?
Yeah. Uh-oh. That was pretty quick, Joel. What are we talking about?
Yeah, he's already minus, you know what I mean?
Joel, I was trying to be a little funny, and I can
Sorry, William.
It went a little serious, and I was trying to be funny, but if you want to weigh in, you can, but don't feel like you need to.
Just saying, every time you come back, the charge for your comment is a piece of clothing. That's all we're saying.
Go ahead, Joel.
Thankfully, I live in northern Minnesota, so I have plenty of clothing.
It's all about layers.
Okay, so I was listening to you guys continue on after I signed off to go to bed, and it struck me that, Christy, you're saying that there was someone that was going to do the interview, right? And you had the idea, is it worth it going into the backstory if this person backed out? How could that be helpful?
I think it's more of the story behind the story. Everybody feels like there is some sort of story that is deceitful, etc. And then also they're just inquisitive. Then there's another group that's just inquisitive. And so was this a Kpro? This is a special favor to Kpro? I don't think as much. And there could be a fun little story there. Nothing's fun in the chase and at that point, and probably anymore, because it all turns to negative. So part of me wants to still try to keep not jaded into the fun of it. But then even this conversation has gone a place that I don't even want to go there if not, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember one of Forrest's rules, right? Be positive. I think that's so much of what he's trying to communicate, and it's so much of what our world needs to hear, right? Especially right now, and I think some of that other side stuff and the backstory stuff or other things like that, I think it detracts from the other things that really do have, better impacts on people's lives.
Joel, you know what's beautiful? I can see you in my eyes. No, I can see me in your eyes. There you go.
Oh, there's a song here.
So yeah, you don't need a test, William. You don't have coronavirus. You're just drunk.
I wish.
Well, and Jack
different kind of coronavirus.
Found before the documentary is out, how does it affect it? One, I do not believe that will happen. Forrest, I don't believe, and you'll see some quotes in there. Does not think it'll happen. But I also think if it did, that's what a perfect ending and little bow at the end of this. But again, I don't believe, Forrest has just flat out said, I said it last night, I'll say it again. Forrest has said the reason that the treasure chest hasn't been found is the poem hasn't been solved. He didn't say like maybe this, that. He said the poem's not been solved. So I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Huh?
When did he say that?
He said that during the interview. I don't know you didn't come on November 4th. It was November 4th. It was only a couple months ago. You guys will see that,
It's not on
that
Terry's
quote
game.
very, very soon.
It's not on Terry's
But you
game.
know, I'm excited about seeing the documentary because I would probably say it's the first one that was actually asked by a searcher. Because most
That's true,
documentaries are asked by some journalists, and usually the quotes are off or the information is not accurate. But I'm curious how it's going to end up being because it's actually asked by a searcher for searcher-related questions, which is going to be interesting.
I'll reiterate again. I think it's way more interesting to know what questions he wouldn't answer.
So you do think that has validity to know what he would not answer?
Are you kidding?
Right.
I think that actually that's my new project.
Pleading the
That
fifth
just
to Joe.
evolved this week. I will tell you, don't get disappointed in the documentary. The documentary is not for searchers. This one, all of these quotes and things, that's going to be my new project. And everybody knows we have I'm freaking quarantined, for God's sake. I'm going to put together a list of questions that are specifically related to what he wouldn't answer, because that would just be cool.
One more
I didn't
thing
even
before I
think
take
about
off. Before I take off more clothes for Carter, you should ask. You should just for you, buddy. Everyone's like, bring back Victoria. So you should ask Forrest what he thinks about the whole situation.
Oh, there's a good idea.
What situation? Your clothes situation?
I know what he thinks about that.
Calm down, Carter.
Situation like that.
Hey, pan down.
Situation.
You're
What
not on my
situation,
channel,
Joel?
William, so I
Ask
can't
Forrest
answer
what
it.
exactly?
I can't answer how I want to. See,
Joel, what situation?
come over to my channel. We'll have
About
a
the
conversation.
the interview change.
Well, I
Unless
think-
you asked him that in the interview.
Well, he went through with the interview. Obviously, it wasn't a deal breaker or anything. So, but yeah.
I'm just going to say that I don't think that there's ever been a time that we would do anything against Forrest wishes. I think some have asked, and they have gotten confirmation that this is not something Forrest is against. This is Forrest is, well, yeah, okay.
I think it's great that Forrest and Preston agreed to do it.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Searchers that you've got doing it. I can't wait to see it. And I don't know. I'm just not that interested about the backstory of it. I want to hear the whole thing. Like, when are we going to get to see this stupid thing?
Well, and that's what sucks, and I talked about it last night, is we are focusing in our last 2 interviews. I think I can do one remotely, but one of them I cannot. And I'm not able to travel, let alone leave my house. So
Yeah, it's kind of put everything on hold. So
yeah, and that's where it sucks. But
we got a super chat from Godelkin. He says, "Here's a hint," and I'm assuming the super chat was the hint because the super chat was for $9.01. So thank you for that super chat, Godelkin. Not sure how that's a hint. But
Anonymous emails already
901.
coming in, and I love the anonymous ones, which I won't respond to. So anyway, okay, well, it's all fair enough. Cool. So, okay.
All right,
well,
Joel.
so-
Thanks for coming back.
So where have we not touched on? What is logical searcher and walking amongst lions? You guys have been dominating this conversation. What's that one nugget that if you were to say to somebody, here it is, what is that?
Hey, Kpro,
You're still on the phone?
posted this in the, yeah, I'm still on the phone.
I'm just kidding. I know you're on
your
the
bill.
phone. Yeah.
But my question is okay, once the treasure is found, assuming that it's found in the next 20, 30 years at least, how is the search community going to respond to the actual finder? I mean,
Could you just turn a
they're gonna
lamp
be
on
sued,
or
they're gonna
something?
be-
It's
they're
just
gonna be-
creepy.
It's bad, but how
it's
is
just
the
too-
actual search community going to really respond? Are they going to respond to the finder like they respond to Fenn, or are they going to be looked on negatively?
In my opinion, it depends on how they reveal the solve. It depends on who the person is and what they do with the information they have from finding it. So
I'll let others weigh in because I 100% disagree with Mike, 100%. So before I tell him why, is the searcher going to be embraced depending on how they say it? Or are they going to be hated no matter what? Because this was the only way that some people are going to dig out of their miserable lives. And this is going to be the only way. If somebody comes out and says, I found it all on my own. No, Forrest gave you a hint. You had a private meeting with him. I hate Forrest. I hate you. Oh, you did it anonymously. There's a cheater. I'm going to sue, in my opinion.
Well,
You
exactly,
also said a
Kpro.
year ago, like,
Oh, you're angry.
I want to know what everybody's opinion is, here in this room, because these are the people that I consider to be my peers. Right?
Okay, go Davio. Yeah, we hear you. Go Davio. Answer.
But in other words, so let all the haters sue. That's just more part of the big stew, which is the marketing for the book, for the finder. You know what I mean? There's definitely going to be some interest on how this was found and who it was, blah, 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 blah. Right? So let the haters hate. Right? Stick the camera on them, let them blab. It makes no sense. You want to do a lawsuit? Knock your bad self out. It's just ridiculous. That's what lawyers are for. He'll come back on without a T-shirt. But you know what I mean? It's I'll hire Joel. It's a going forward and keeping the energy and the curiosity and the beautiful thing that Forrest created is the trick. Whoever keeps that going forward, I think is going to take the already established community and create some more, imagination spinoff. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
The one thing I've learned, I remember when Mike said a year ago, I'm Switzerland. I'm pretty much, liked by everyone. And I was like, well, when you and I connect, it's going to differ. And he's like, no, it won't. I'm
Kpro, she definitely ruined that one for you, didn't she?
Right.
And I was like, come on, there's some people that just hate to hate. And I do think even if a Mike finds it, or Mike before Kpro finds it, I believe an unknown finds it. There's some that are hanging their entire livelihood. They've lost their home. They've lost their job. They've lost their some people have lost their lives to this, and family members. No matter what happens, there's going to be a minority voice, but that minority voice is going to be the loudest voice. It's not going to be all of us like, ooh, just tell us what happened. This is so cool that someone found it. The minority voice. Look at Sassy. Sassy talked about the David Blaine hunt. When she won it, those 4 or 5 lawsuits tainted it for everything. That's 5 lawsuits out of the thousands that were in it. That's what's going to taint it. Let the community know, never come out. You will be haunted for life, in my opinion. And I wouldn't have said that a year ago. I'm surprised, Mike, you are saying what you're saying, because you lived it the last year with me. So,
and Christy, I don't think it can be tainted. I mean, if it was going to be tainted, we've had enough people that have died looking for it that should have tainted this chase long ago. But I think that that's just going to, like Davio was saying, it's going to create more mystery, and more people are going to give us, any kind of publicity, whether it be negative or positive, it's still publicity, and it's still going to draw attention. If not more attention, with the more negative, more negative that people are, the more attention I believe it's going to draw to the chase. But really,
if you find it, are you coming out?
Not right away, but I've got some tricks up my sleeve that I would do to make it to keep the intrigue going.
Well, the only thing I meant by it depends on how the person reveals is if somebody finds it, Forrest Fenn verifies they find it, and they go, and you can purchase my new book to figure out the solve, that might rub some people the wrong way. Or it could be, yes, I found it, Forrest verifies I found it, and maybe a year from now I'll tell you guys how I found it. It's going to upset some people the way they come out with how they come out with it. That's all I meant. What's that, Candy?
That's why I'm leaving the chest. If I solve it, I'm gonna get the bracelet, bring it back to Fenn, read his little biography just to make sure it's not different from his Thrill of the Chase. And then I might take one more thing, like maybe that amethyst necklace he put in there. But everything else I'm leaving, because I feel like thousands of people, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people, will turn this into a negative, and it's supposed to stay positive. So I feel like if the chest is still out there, people are going to be happy, even if it's solved, because it means they get a second chance to try and figure it out too.
So you're going to find it, take what you want out of it, but not tell anybody that you found it?
No, she's leaving the treasure chest.
I know, and you're not going to tell anybody that you found it?
No, I would say if I solved it, I would go to Fenn's house, give him his bracelet, because that's the whole point, and then he would announce it, and then I'd let people know that it's still out there, so the hunt's still on, because the whole point of it is the thrill of the chase.
And you're not going to give any clue, any of the solution, any clues, nothing?
No, because I feel like the whole reason he did this is the same thing, to get people out there to step away and just see the bigger picture in life, become a better person.
Well, Candy, we all know that if you were to announce that, if Forrest was to announce that you just found it, you know everybody else is going to run to the Firehole River now.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like there's something everyone's missing about it. So if I'm right and I do figure it out, it doesn't matter. Everyone knows, myself's the Firehole River solve, but they'll still just be out there looking.
But you've dealt with a little bit of hate because of another search. So if you came out and said, I found it, I left it there, and I had the bracelet, etc., you don't think people would hunt you down like a dog and like get to a whole different level of hate and crazy?
I mean, I wouldn't care. The whole reason I want to do it is just to challenge myself to see if I'm smart enough to figure out a really hard puzzle. That's why I'm doing it. So, I mean, there's going to be haters.
I'll be honest. I'm not leaving it if I find it.
Yeah, I'm not leaving anything either. I might leave something like a coin, if only there was a searcher coin we had. I might leave something like that behind, but I'm not leaving any part of the treasure chest behind.
Here's the thing: if somebody finds it after I do, there'll be a little statuette of Yoda. That's what they'll find.
Oh, so you're Yoda on the forums? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, definitely I'm not Yoda, but Yoda does be everywhere. So.
My one dream in this chase, I need to sit down and have a cup of coffee with Yoda. And William, I think you know what that means. Yoda had a profound impact on me in this chase, kind human being, and I actually thought was Fenn for years on the forums. And I now know he's not. He's a trucker, and he's just a nice, brilliant human being, and he's just a good old boy. If I don't meet him sometime in my life, I am going to feel like my life's not complete. He is a good guy, and I want to meet him. Yoda, I want to meet you, and I've already given you a couple of PMs. You're a good old boy. I want to meet you one day. That's it.
So you know who Yoda is?
I've corresponded with Yoda enough to know he is not Forrest, and enough about him that he's just a good guy.
That's interesting.
So a couple people in the chat are saying whoever finds it, they would expect them to put out a book. Like, that's what you do. And they're trying to say, why would I have a problem with it? I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'm saying some people would, not myself. I would probably make a book if I was the one who found it. But I think certain people would be like, it's not enough you found the chest. Now you want to sell a book too. That's all. Somebody's always going to find a reason to complain. That's all I was trying to say. But no, I'm okay with the book. I'm okay with whatever. Whoever finds it, they can do what they want. They earn the right to do whatever they want.
That finds it should definitely come out with a book. I would read it. But,
I would too, yeah.
I mean, my problem is I could have 100 people that love me and one that hates me, and that one person that hates me is what's going to eat at me.
Oh, it's going to be me, man. You find it, I'm kicking a cat, punching a child in the stomach. Yeah. But that goes.
That's right.
And somebody just said documentary. That's the real documentary, how I found Forrest Fenn's treasure chest. I mean, I think we'd all watch that. That would be pretty cool.
Somebody's asked me because this is something I've done with at least 10 searchers, what is the PR plan after? What's just the general for anybody in the know? I'll do it jointly with Toby or not, but I don't have a problem walking through what the PR plan would be for people that don't know that part of the process. They've asked for that as a show. We'll do it as an upcoming show. It can't be on the marathon because the marathon is packed, but there is a PR plan. I actually believe the PR could be more lucrative than the actual treasure chest. In my opinion, if done right. And that's actually my piece to some people that I've partnered with.
I 100% agree with that, Kpro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll do a show on that soon. I've got to get it's just going to be general. Here's the first pictures, here's the first story, here's how the book goes, here's how the tour goes, here's how the selling of the treasure chest, or if you just want to make it a tour, here's how you make money off of that. And here's your story. If you don't want to make money, here's how you donate it back. There is a process to it. This is people's livelihoods is doing exactly that. How much should they get? What's their percentage? PR agents versus ghostwriters, if you want to come out versus not come out. That's actually an area that I have my job is a part of. So I can not saying come to me, I'm just saying here is something to consider when you do that, because there's so many people that believe. The hard part is I don't believe anybody's that close, but if you are, you're starting to think about that. So we'll do a video on that soon.
So Gypsy's
Well, Christy,
kids.
why do you think Forrest hid the chest?
A legacy.
I
It's his
am in the
legacy.
minority. I believe that he has hidden the chest for a much, much higher story or reason than any of us realize. It is not Forrest. It is something like Sitting Bull's Peace Pipe, but at a whole different level. He is going to be known nationally and forever in the history books when the story comes out. And it was after the documentary where he says, and everybody already has the quote, the story is for the finder to tell. I believe that story is profound at a level. He is already a magnificent person that we all know. He's going to tell a story at a whole different level.
And you think that's the reason
I
everybody
agree.
will know when it's found? That story that it has to get out. There's no way for it not to get out.
There's no way when that finder sees it and goes, oh, holy hell, look what I have. Oh my gosh, this is a story. That's how he knows, but doesn't have to say it, but doesn't have to have a beacon or a webcam or whatever. That person is going to have a gold mine. They're going to be able to tell a story of, I don't know if it's DB Cooper, if it's, I don't know what it is. There's going to be a whole new term for it.
I feel like it's going to be his real story about himself.
And his self is going to be bigger than him. Like if you're in Santa Fe, a lot of people don't know who Forrest Fenn is. I don't believe you're going to be able to be in America without knowing the name Forrest Fenn after this comes out. My opinion, it's crazy. I'm fine. I'm crazy and I'm silly. And I'm stupid and I'm all those things.
No, I'm in
I need a correct and all those.
Kpro, I think that's a great ideal, and I certainly hope it's that prophetic. That's kind of my hope. That's what keeps me going in it. But I don't know. That's awful lofty.
I don't think there has to be a story other than he did what we know he did, which was put all these things in a chest and write a poem. That in itself is a really good story.
There is a story. It's so much bigger.
He said there's a story. We just don't know, we don't know what it is.
I don't think he hid the chest.
Yeah, but what if
Yeah, I don't
that
think he
story
hid the
doesn't
chest to
shine
have a prize at
a
the
good
end of
light on Forrest?
Say that again?
What if that story really doesn't shine that good light on Forrest? What if it's kind of a tell-all that kind of like dispels so much myth and takes him out of this kind of godly realm that he's entered into?
Well, it's his story to tell, and this is the way he's decided to tell it, and I think he's set it up, and whatever happens, happens. I think he's out of it at this point.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care if they raid his home. He doesn't care if they mock him. He doesn't care if they're jerks to him. He cares about the story being out. He doesn't care if it's before he's dead, after he's dead. He's okay if it's after he's dead because it's so profound.
I feel like it's, where he says
I'm
on the
hoping.
tape, he embellishes
I
the
hope as
stories.
well.
I feel like the real story is not going to be embellished.
Right. It doesn't need to be embellished. It's that good.
Do you think Forrest is even capable of not embellishing though?
Oh my God! Have you ever sat with him?
He's an amazing storyteller.
Well, Christy, do you think
read
that the
TTOTC?
story? Do you think the
He
story's in the
claims it.
copyrighted picture of the chest?
Who is this on the phone?
It's William.
Shadowcaster.
No, on the phone. Shadowcaster. Up in Yellowstone.
Oh, you're still on the phone.
Yeah. People are going, who's talking? Yeah, he's on the phone.
God. God is coming.
Of course
Bear
of
witness.
course he's capable of embellishing. He even says it in the first few pages of TTOTC.
Oh, yeah.
And
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
Only
think the
85%
real story
has to
when
be
we
true.
discover it in the test is not going to be embellished. But like Kpro's saying, it's going to be such an epic story. It won't need embellishments because it's going to be like the first of the kind, like first time we've ever experienced or heard something like this.
do you think I'm just the house husband?
Or do you just play one on
Come
YouTube?
on, let's be honest.
I don't know. I don't know.
North Carolina is
The house
taking over the
husband
world.
does not have a Roman helmet.
On this topic, I think it's worth noting a couple of things. Meeps. He's not going to explain the meaning of the omegas, right?
You guys are all over the place.
Also, he's said that when it's found, he's not going to point out or explain the hints in the book because that would say more than he wants to say, or it would share more than he wants to share. So something
No, he said it a little different. Except Meeps, I agree with you. He doesn't have to tell it. Okay, let's just say, what if you had an epic story when you found it, you opened it, you sat and you read the story, and it is something beyond you ever would believe. He doesn't have to tell the story anymore. You are now a story. You are now the person for the next 30, 40, 50 years. You're it. He doesn't have to do anything because you have his words and you are his. I don't want to say like you're his like Patsy, but you're his ambassador.
Conduit.
You've got all of it. You've got it. And you solved the poem. You are at a level the rest of us are.
I love all you guys, right? But we are sounding awfully cultish right now.
I think what we're talking about, what we hope is going to happen. We don't know any of this is going to happen, but we hope.
No, the one person, not all of you and all of me and all of us, the one person, they're going to be huge. They're not all of us that think we are, not the roosters. Okay,
All right, new topic. Who's got something? Something brand new we haven't talked about yet tonight. Dave, you got anything?
No.
The logical searcher, you got anything?
Let me think.
Copyrighted picture of the chest.
Well, is it? Everybody shows it, so.
No, I had written permission on
Well, we
Thor
did,
and
yeah.
here. Some of us actually appreciate the legalities, and we're going to talk about that of making money on the chase.
On
And
the
what is
marathon. That's going to be a topic on the marathon. That's going to be a
That's
good
gonna
one.
Topic.
Yeah.
You think the hidden stories in that copyrighted picture of the chest?
No, not on the copywritten because it's so packed in. But I think if you took that apart, like the FOIA would do, I think it would be a whole story there. But the FOIA will blow that up. So some don't want the FOIA out there.
Who in the world
And
is
the
laughing
FOIA.
so hard right now? Is that
Hold on, let me have another glass.
But that
of wine.
picture of the chest is not. We don't know if those contents are in there. Wasn't there a pocket watch that he removed or something? Just because we have a picture, he could have taken anything out, putting anything back in before he hit it. So I don't think you can go off the picture, personally. But Hooley says, Cowlazars, what is a good map? The one that shows where warm waters halt,
The one that said we should use, which is Google.
or the poem.
Okay,
The poem.
okay,
Yeah.
Actually, what-
Sir, have we heard from you yet? Can you tell us, hi, who are you? Where do you search? Any thoughts you have?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
You're a little low, but talk loud.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Jim. I live in Oklahoma, and I've been in the search for probably 5 or 6 years now. Just decided I wanted to jump in and help discuss on some of the topics I was talking about. Sorry I got here a little late.
Well, welcome.
Already just started. You're here now.
How many boots on the ground do you have, if any?
I've had 2 very expensive ones.
Okay. All right. And Dave, you're saying you've had 15?
Yeah. Very, very expensive.
All right. Who's had the most? Davio? If you haven't had 15, have you?
Yeah, I've had right around 50.
Okay.
Doesn't Cynthia win?
Well, yeah.
Hey,
I
I
think on the
kind of
marathon,
live
we have
in my
someone that has
area,
got
so
700 searches.
I go out down there every day.
Yeah, it must be nice to live in the area where you want to search for sure.
I had to give up a little bit.
Right.
Well,
So
I will say we have someone that's outside the search area and 700 searches.
go ahead, Kpro.
We have somebody on the marathon that is 700 searches and lives outside the search area. You and I have met that person.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
You know what that means, right?
they call themselves the biggest loser, but I don't think they are. I think they have a lot of good things to say. But what do you say? William, I know that's your dog. What do you say, Oki?
If you got more, as far as I'm concerned, if you got more than, say, 10 boots on the ground, you're not very good at what you're doing. So I'm going to make sure that I have no more than 5 before I find it.
Awesome.
But would you think there's something to when you get home, you regroup and you come up with a different solution? Maybe those boots on the ground aren't all to the same area.
Now, the 2 that I've had have been 2 different areas, and the spot I'm in now, I went once, and I was there for a few days, got snowed in for 5 days after I got there, but I still believe it's in a very, very extremely small area where actually 3 or 4 clues are right the exact same spot. And still believe it's there, and that'll be my 3rd boots on the ground. I just want to go back with pure confidence, like Forrest says you can. And I don't want any. I'm tired of the guesswork. I want to be able to do what he says, walk straight out there and pick it up and have no doubt in my mind whatsoever whenever I go.
Straight out where?
There to that spot, that final spot.
Out to that spot.
And that spot.
Okay, we're getting towards the end of tonight. Is there anything someone hasn't said on this, experiment? There's 12 of us on. Is there something you haven't asked, said, thoughts, whatever, before we start to wind up?
I want to make one last comment.
Yes.
That interview that y'all were doing with Forrest, whenever y'all asked him, was there something that the searchers are missing? And he said, was yes, and it's very significant, but I'm leaving it to the finder.
Mm-hmm. That's the story we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I started thinking about that after that interview, and going to the last stanza of the poem where it says, "If you are brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold." I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, well, what if he really simply meant, if you are brave and in the wood, in other words, if you have found the treasure and you're in it because you have opened it up and therefore you have found the treasure, he's going to give you title to the gold. So what is he giving you? I think Forrest has written a book for the finder. It's already written, and the title of it is either Title to the Gold, or the title of the book is To the Gold. He needs the finder, whoever finds it, their name is going to be the one that's going to be put in that book as the person who found the gold. So in reality, he really is giving you title to the gold, and you will benefit with that, and I guess all royalties off the book.
Hey, I've got one parting question then.
Okay.
Forrest has said that the first 2 clues have been solved, whether they knew they solved them or not. But I think most people kind of agree that below the Homer Brown is probably maybe the 3rd clue thereabouts. So what if it's not where the Homer Brown is, but what the Homer Brown is?
You mean you have to figure out what it is before you can find out where it is? That type thing?
What I'm saying is it might not matter so much as what it is or where it is as what it is.
Well, we have to put in below it, so don't we have to physically go to where it is to get below it?
Yeah, but have you really considered what the home of brown is?
So here's a response to that. I told Forrest my blaze one time, and he's like, "Stop it with the blaze. Stop it with Homer Brown. Stop it with anything till you got WWWH." And I'm like, "But I think I have it." And he's like, "No, people don't have it. Like, why are you jumping ahead?"
That's the reverse engineer, and I think that goes back to when he says people are solving it out of order.
Right.
Like Thomas says, can anyone imagine the ninth clue to be the hardest?
If you don't know where Warm Waters Holt is, then there's no point in even thinking about home of brown. But if those few searchers that have figured out what Warm Waters Holt really is and where Warm Waters Holt really is, then I think the next important question is not where home of brown is, but what home of brown is.
It's possible, but again, if you don't have the right Warm Waters Halt, I don't think it matters. You got to get that one down to be in the right area, the general area.
Well,
but I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Below it.
And I agree, but Forrest has said that there are people, whether they knew it or not, that have figured out where Warm Waters Holt. They have figured out the first two clues. And I think we all agree
too
that
many of us think
where
we're
the
them,
home of
and
brown
that's
probably is not one of the first two clues.
But that's
maybe
exactly
the next
what
significant one for those searchers is what is the home of brown, not where is the home of brown.
No, and I agree with you, except for he spanked me and said, "Stop thinking you're the one or two people. Like, get back to WWWH." And I'm like, "But no, I'm one of the 200 footers or 500 foot." And he's like, "No, get back to W." And I'm like, "No, let's talk about the blaze." And he's like, "Cut it the hell out. Go back." He didn't say it that way. He kind of did when I met him. He was like, "Come on, you need a crutch?" I mean, I think too many
apparently I've had a drink or two more than I probably should have, but I think one of Forrest's. Let's go back to when we said one of the most profound things that Forrest has said in an interview or anything. I think it is when he said, "Get back in the box."
Why?
I think that was a big clue.
Get outside the box too.
Or a
Why
big
is it
hint.
profound?
Not a clue,
inside
but
the
a big hint.
Okay, why is when he said get in the box was profound to you, but not get outside the box? He said both.
Because of the way he phrased putting, I have resisted saying this so far, but I'm saying this now, and that's paraphrased because that's not the exact quote, but he said, "I've resisted saying this so far, but I think you need to get back in the box."
I mean, it could be. A lot of things he says, I don't think we're thinking the right things of the way he means it.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Responding to what the caller is saying, figuring out what the home of brown is, in my impression, I'm adding that just because for everybody else. But figuring out what it is will help you figure out where it is. So he's right.
Okay. So I got to say thank you to Mike Thomas for that $20 super chat. And what he said was, can anyone imagine that the ninth clue is the hardest? What if the blaze is actually the hardest clue? You've solved all 8, and now the hardest thing that's left is to actually find the blaze.
I don't think it's hard as much as it's ambiguous, actually. I think he just has not provided any clue to what the blaze is in anything. I think you actually have to be boots on the ground. I think that's the only thing that actually requires you to be boots on the ground to actually solve.
Yeah, except for the fact that on the EIS radio interview from August 8th, 2013, he says they get progressively easier after you discover where the first clue is.
And there's a billion of them.
And that's in a direct quote.
Right.
Well,
but I don't think
it's true they said it, but it's not true that they get easier.
It's an easy clue to solve, but you have to be physically present there to solve it.
Right. I think they get easier to Forrest, but I don't know if they'll be easier to us.
So what you're telling me is you need to be physically present in this room for us to like I don't know why there's this voice that just keeps showing up. Is that what you're telling me? Oh, Shadow.
Look,
ooh, sneaky fella. Oh, that was aggressive.
I'm loving you, Carter. Okay,
I do know
Shadow loves me, and I love Shadow.
No, Shadow's my search
Yeah,
brother,
no,
so I'm
actually,
not
I have
saying anything bad.
I have
I'm just
He's
saying
also
no.
he's also staying true to
Except
his
for the
name
red
as a
search.
shadow by being a shadow, right?
True.
But Dave, I would probably disagree with that only because Forrest said, or at least what he told Cynthia is, does your solution lead you to a 15 by 15 inch area?
12.
No, I thought it was 15. No, you're right. It was 12 inch by 12 inch. In other words, I think the clues get that specific. They lead you
But
right
was that
to
for
it.
everybody, or is that
Doesn't
just
mean they're
me?
easy, but
Raise a hand here.
Yeah.
Everybody that has a solution, my hand is up, by the way. Everybody that has a solution, are you to within a 12-foot area?
12 foot by 12 feet.
Yeah, a 12-foot area. Are you in a 12-foot area before you go boots on the ground?
Oh, before you go boots on the ground. So
Yes,
Davio
fine.
says yes. Logical Searcher says yes.
I'm in
Okie
a
Chest
1 foot
Chaser
area.
says yes. And Dave, that's a yes. David Cross.
1
I mean
foot.
Dave Calvi.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't know how you get that. So you're saying just using online maps, you've narrowed it down that
No,
quickly.
no. Actually, I think the only named place on a map that you're going to find is Warm Water Halt. I think everything after that is not a named place. It's imagination
Boots on the ground,
and interpretation.
I
You
agree
do
with that.
marry the clues to places on a map, though. So how do you reconcile that?
Why did you say
I
12
think
inch
it
by
all
12
because
inch,
I
not
think
10 inch?
it all boils down to, like he said, Warm Water Halt. If you don't have that, you don't have anything.
Right.
Depends on your map.
Mike,
You
thanks for
gotta have a good
joining
map,
us.
right? It's got to be a good map. Nobody knows
What
that
up,
good
Mike
map
Wood?
is, so.
Well, Forrest said to use Google Maps. That sounds like a great map to me. It must
Google Maps.
And in my solution, Google Maps suffices. It's not the best map. It's a good enough map.
Okay, Michael, Tricky
Yep.
Treasures, Nelica, there's a few things.
Oh yeah, you need to wrap it up, then we'll wrap it up, Kpro. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that we're well over 2 hours. I'm just saying that this
Marathon.
Yeah, right. The marathon's next Saturday, everybody.
Fun. Just got here. First time.
And Mike Wood is here. I'm so excited Mike Wood's here. So I'm like, Mike, there's
I
another
do-
Mike, but I'm going to say Wood. Wood is, I'm like, but I do have to say I don't know how many hours you want to go tonight, Michael, because we did a little pre.
And we said 2 hours. Okay, here's the question. Do you want to go another 45 minutes or do you want to end it now? The 45 minutes, we have 15 to talk about what we were going to talk about at the end.
There is a parking lot party that usually happens after.
Oh, there could be an after party on another channel. That's true.
So, Mike,
Yeah.
if you know country, I know you're a little bit of a rap guy. If you know country, do you know what a parking lot party is?
Tailgate party?
It's that of sorts. And
Yeah.
there's a guy that is a little bit into country. He's a little bit country. He's a little bit southern. And
He likes rap too.
So are you saying we should go to the after party, Kpro? Is that what I'm hearing?
No,
yeah, but we do. Okay, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to talk a little bit about the things we have to talk about, and I'd like to hit one last hard-hitting piece. But Tricky Treasures, I think the Nelica piece, the marathon, Chaseopoly, and then a little bit about the documentary and what is in store, because it's going to be huge.
All right, let me read this, everybody. TrickyTreasures.com. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. You probably have heard of it by now. You can earn money by solving riddles. It's a new website game based on riddles where you can win money, like I just said. You need to figure out what the answer is to the riddles on the playing board as they are released. A new riddle is revealed when a certain number of new players join the game. So the more you speed share Tricky Treasures, the faster the game will move. Only cost $10, and somebody is going to win $5,000. So check out TrickyTreasures.com.
Okay, and then Nelica, those of you that don't know, a lot of people have been saying up on, and Mike start to bring it up on eBay's, people are starting to dump their stuff because there's all these different illustrations and arrowheads that are out there. No, there's one person that is selling their collection or starting to sell part of their collection. So she is putting the illustrations out there. She donated one to World Series of Fenn. And one of the illustrations, let's see if I can find it, or the arrowheads, she gave one to my Kpro. he doesn't even know how special it is. And Mike, actually, that was his number 3 prize at the World Series of Fenn. Super excited. So those are out there, and there's a couple of other big items that are coming out. I am going to start talking about our collection in the next little bit. So that'll be something else that's going to be
pretty cool.
out there.
So we got another super chat from Mike Thomas for $20. Thank you very much. Does one solve involve Forrest Fenn in any way? And I think maybe that goes back to a question that we had before was, is the solution logical or is it emotional? Does it involve Forrest Fenn in any way?
It has to.
Say again?
It has to.
What? Which one?
How can your solve not involve Forrest Fenn?
I got you. Because he's the one who wrote the poem, right? Yeah, I guess I would agree with that. But he says all you need is the poem, though. In other words, do you have to know about Forrest Fenn's life? Do you have to know he was in the military or that he was a fly fisherman or that he went to Yellowstone? Do you have to know any of those things, or can you just look at the poem and solve it that way?
Ben
Go ahead,
said
Kim.
that the only reason you'd only need the poem is because the poem's in the book. So technically, he's still saying you need the Thrill of the Chase book.
You gotta have the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have the book.
I agree. Those of you that don't know, Fenbury has been postponed.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I am going to take a difference of opinion with my search stat. I don't have to agree with him all the time. He's saying indefinitely. I'm just saying I believe it's going to be postponed. We don't know whether we're going to have one this year or not. Let's just keep the faith. And Candy and I are starting to get into, I'm just going to say, the fun social side of the chase. We might do let's all sit around just like this and watch Goonies or National Treasure or something on Facebook. And those of you, I wasn't on Facebook a year ago or a year and a half ago. I only have a Facebook for my search friends and my poker friends. And so we're going to do something. Let's make this an everyday affair for the next couple of weeks. And Candy is so fun, and I try to be as fun as her. So we're going to try to do something. So just know that you'll see those. I'll try to put them up on Thor as well. But it'll be a way for us to just, have some fun and do some fun things.
And Candy, for you and for anybody else that's in California, Governor Newsom just issued a statewide stay-at-home order in the coronavirus fight.
Uh-oh.
So, just so you know, that just happened like an hour ago.
Stay at home, stay safe.
Yeah, everybody.
And you know what? Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
I think we should do Goonies.
The Goonies, that's right. Is there anybody on our panel who has not seen the Goonies?
Happened until like a week ago.
Christy,
like very recently.
What are you doing with your life?
Yes, I know.
Christy, did you lie? Christy, you said you watched it.
I know. Up until like a week ago.
Oh, you recently saw it. Okay.
And I just saw it.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Good job.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Kpro. Go ahead.
Mike has been hounding me. Okay, so 2 more things. The marathon, most of you that are on this panel have seen the first version. If you have not gotten an email from me, and thank you are on the marathon, we're already full, but I might have missed somebody. We're trying to get everything solidified. We're only 9 days away. Please email as quickly as possible. The marathon is happening. It's awesome. We're excited.
A week from Saturday, and it starts at 9 a.m. Pacific. We're starting 3 hours earlier because we go so late at night. So 9 a.m. Pacific next Saturday.
Is it too late to change the topic that we want to discuss on the panel?
No, just email me. And I can change topics. I can change times. I can change whatever happens. There'll be after parties. There's going to be so much to have happen. It's going to, but email me now. In a week from now, it's going to be a lot harder. About half of you have confirmed. There's 20 different people. There's panels. There's some controversial things. There's some straightforward things. There's brand new people. All of that is up for grabs.
I feel like I need to change mine because I've already kind of lightly tapped into it on the most previous marathons we've been doing, or going live.
Yes, and that's okay. Let's connect. No problem.
All right, Shadowcaster, go ahead. Last thing, then we're going to wrap it up.
Hey, Kpro. Well, no, this is not. Don't finish on this. By God, do not finish on this.
I meant with the phone call. Go
I'm
ahead.
watching a low-res version of the feed right now, and I don't know why, but it looks like you're bald.
Oh, the hat you have on. Let's talk about the hat you have on, Kpro.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
I was like, wait, where did Kpro's wig go?
Well, you know why.
Coronavirus!
No, I don't.
Okay.
Coronavirus.
All right, Shadowcaster, thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you next time, all right?
Thanks, guys. Have a great night, y'all.
Okay.
Be safe. Be healthy.
See ya.
Yes.
All right, Kpro, go.
Okay, last one. Mike, did you want to talk about Chaseopoly and the whole thing that you talked to me about?
So, because everybody is stuck at home, and we thought everybody should have a Chaseopoly, so we're giving away for free. No, that's not it. We're not giving away for free. We are going to discount it, though. What's the price we came up with? Say it.
$39.99.
$39.99. Between now and it's a limited time only, guys. Between now and the marathon, which is a week from Saturday, you can get a Chaseopoly for $39.99 plus shipping. The shipping is $15. I don't want to get into individuals. Depending where you are in the state, it either costs me $20 to ship it or around $10. So I just went right in the middle. It's if you live way on the East Coast, you get a discount. If you live in Arizona, you pay a little bit more. We're just going to do straight $15 flat shipping charge. So $49.99 plus $15 shipping. Anybody who orders $39.99 plus $15 shipping, and anybody who orders between now and the marathon will get. What are they going to get? We'll get the World Series of Poker chip that we gave out at the World Series of Fenn. So wanted to put that out there. If anybody's interested, just email me, cowlazars@gmail.com, and I will brave the virus and get it in the post office just for you.
It wasn't always $40. No, it was $49.99. Now it's $39.99. $10 discounted just for now. And if Mike wants to get it out there, he can.
Yeah,
I'm not happy about it, so I'm not going to say whether you should or should not order. But I'm just.
There also is a handling fee that we're waiving as well. So again, it's only between now and the marathon, and then we'll revisit it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There you go. Whatever. Yeah. There you go. Well, whatever. There it is. Mike and I, and then somebody said, why? Well, you guys all think Mike and I talk. We don't that much. So we're having fun. Those of you that think because Andy and I went live a couple times this week, oh my gosh, what happened? Are you Mike split? No, we are just having fun. We're going to tee up more and more times because, my God, what are we going to do this next month? So, and I think House Husband Diaries, I keep saying I don't mean it. House Husband Diaries is going to tee it up too. We're going to bring you guys some good content, and it's going to be fun. And with all of you here, between the marathon and everybody here, let's start bringing it. Like, let's figure this out and have some fun. So that's what I say.
And go ahead, Joel. You want to say something?
Yeah, so I'm just going to throw this out there real quick.
Okay.
I was going to say it earlier, and I got sidetracked, and I decided not to, but I will now. In the Richard Eads, one of the Richard Eads radio interviews, Richard says Forrest had just said it's not going to be found on a spring break or a Sunday afternoon picnic. And Richard Eads says it takes some long concerted research and effort. And Fenn says, well, it doesn't take, you just have to think the right things.
I thought he said you have to think different things. Is that right?
The clues are you have to think the right things. The clues are in the poem, and if you can figure the clues out, they will take you to the treasure chest. You need a little imagination, maybe. And what I wanted to say was, at the end of My War for Me, Forrest says, the fun side of it is, it really doesn't matter who we are if we are someone to ourselves. No one else can think my thoughts. So I am myself only to me. Does that make sense? Thinking the right things.
So are you saying
we have to think the things Forrest thought?
Yeah.
And
that's the same thing Ben said in My War for Me.
The thing, that's what I was just reading from Candy, was My War for Me. What Forrest was thinking is what only Forrest can think. And that means that he is himself, only him. So the thoughts that we need to think are, who is Forrest Fenn?
And where, Joel, could we figure out how Forrest Fenn thinks?
On the marathon on March 28th.
I thought you were going to say Chaseopoly. Come on, brother. No, that would be the Thrill of the Chase book, is the way we figure out how he thinks.
Don't each of us take our own? Okay, so here's some things.
That is the problem. All of us take our own things into it, and that's exactly what he's saying.
Well,
Get back in the box. You know what the box is? Forrest Fenn.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think
but
I agree with
things
that.
that we take for granted, like before I got a divorce, I talked to him about it. Before I wanted to start a business, I talked to him about it. Before some of the decisions I made with my kids, I talked to him about it. I know not everybody has, but he has some profound things that he has said and made a difference in my life that I went, he changed some things in my life. And again, I don't know if people realize something that he might not have written in his book is profound, that because we haven't lived his life. I know that doesn't sound, I don't even know how to explain it, but until you walk in his shoes, he has some things that are bigger than TTOTC, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know how to...
But when it comes to the poem, Thrill of the Chase is the only thing we can use, right? I mean, his book
right,
is.
But you need to know Forrest Fenn. He's so much more than TTOTC. Until you said until you've said some things that like rock you, and then he gives you input that changes your life. I know it sounds stupid. I don't know how to explain it. It's just
the wonderful man who put out this lovely treasure for everybody to play with here in concept, theory, imagination. That's wonderful. But he could have died right after he put the book out, and that's all we got.
Well,
right?
Must Listen Good says you got to think like a child from Temple, Texas, born in 1930. That's the childhood aspect. Maybe.
That's their idea, and that's right out of the book. So I think that's what you have to embrace, is take the book apart, look at everything about the book. This is a big game. Got to play it.
To me, the subtle hints of the book are the only way you're going to figure out the correct Where Warm Waters Halt. Just my opinion. I can say Where Warm Waters Halt is Madison Junction, and that is, in fact, Where Warm Waters Halt. That might not be the Warm Waters Halt that Forrest Fenn had in his mind when he wrote the poem. And that's the point. We need to figure out what he was thinking when he wrote it, not what we come up with.
To your point, Christy, he follows up the idea of thinking his thoughts, so he is himself only to him. He says, does that make sense? So to be important, I only need to impress myself. And I can do that if others are positively affected by what they see in me or see me do. That's so Forrest in his that's what he is that's what he wants to. He wants to be important because he wants to do that. He wants his life to positively affect others by what they see in him and what they see him do. And I think that's what this is all about. And I think you need to understand that before you can figure out the poem and the chest, because that's the only reason he's done the poem and the chest, is so that we would know him and adopt that same mentality. Each of us is here only for the benefit of other people.
So following...
I just feel like you should have at least shown up in a tank top this time.
So following that logic, wasn't the story, the significant story around the chest, therefore have to do something with Forrest Fenn, something in his life, something he did?
Oh my God, it has to. It
has to.
Kind of makes sense.
Isn't revolving around Forrest Fenn? I'll eat my left sock.
So maybe Forrest has a secret that nobody knows about, not even Peggy or his kids, that is in that treasure chest that the finder is going to realize
that he's never about, or that not in here.
Right. Yeah, that could be.
I mean, it's about guiding him to where he wants to die. It's just basically telling us directions on how to find the spot where he wants to pass away at. Pretty much.
Right. So for the box, ergo, all of the contents are relevant. So all the hints and clues are in the box as well. Every inch of that content in the box, including the dimensions of the box, are relevant because it is a metaphor for him. It's his grave. It's where he's going to go and die and leave and blah, blah, blah. I think all parts are...
I think that's why he put the exact amount of gold that he did in there. It's how much weight he lost in Vietnam.
And 265 coins. I mean, that goes with the equinox. I mean, there's so many parallels.
So that could mean that the clues that are in the poem relate to his life as well.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe.
What if Davio's right?
I will. If
Just in
Dovio
general?
finds
Whole room.
treasure, oh my God, the world will be right.
See-
If a good person like Davio finds his treasure, I'm gonna freaking celebrate. I will dance around. The karma is called a good thing.
What do you mean, what if Davio is great?
That's right, Davio.
We love
Well,
you, Davio.
See, the
I
good
don't
stuff
think he's
comes out
wrong.
late at night when everybody's drunk. It's
I've-
8:30
I've
here,
got-
but I know it's 11:30 on the
I've-
East
I've
Coast.
spent enough time in the last week with Davio that I'm like, I'm still trying to catch up because he's figured out that Kenny G circular breathing somehow. Like it's like constant, like
That
stream
tantric?
of
What am I thinking of?
consciousness. And I'm like, whoa, I'm still trying to catch up. Like he's got more information than I could ever compute.
So maybe we touched upon something. What did Forrest say, which is always stuck in the back of my mind? Somebody look this up on Terry Scant. House Husband Diaries, you're the Terry Scant guy. A deep thinking treasure searcher could use logic to determine an important possibility.
That's why I've been trying to catch up with Davio for the last.
Oh, because Davio's so logical? No way. Like, he's imaginative. There's no way. It's like, Mike is one side of the logic train and Davio's the other side. And this is perfect because I'm right between these two crazy people.
Confirmation bias.
And you're just one level down from it all. Like, come on. Come on. You're like, in 30 days, I'll get there. I'm like, oh my God. In 50 years, we'll all get there.
I love trying to keep up with Davio, but sometimes he just doesn't link it back to the poem. Or he doesn't tie it up, or he misspeaks a little sometimes, and I can't catch up. But I love listening to him.
Mike, talk more, please. I love your accent.
Yeah, where are you from, Mike, originally?
New Jersey?
I am from New Plymouth, New Zealand.
Oh,
Not
New Zealand.
Plymouth, Idaho. But
That's
I have been
right.
to New Plymouth, Idaho.
Didn't I send you a book?
No, we've emailed.
Oh, then there's somebody else in New Zealand that I sent once upon a while
There
to.
could be.
Okay, yeah. No, definitely there was, because I remember that shipping. I went, geez, yeah, okay. Yeah, all
I've
right, well,
bought
thanks
my
for
own
joining
books.
us. And what time is it in New
It's
Zealand
the
right
source.
now?
It's beer o'clock. It's 4:25.
Oh, okay, nice.
Okay, so for the roundup, Carter, are you having a not after party, a parking lot party tonight?
Yeah, if people want to come, sure.
Okay, so everybody head over to the House Husband Diaries if you want to have a crazy party of he allows cursing, he allows craziness.
I can't monetize, so we're free to go.
Well, whether we monetize or not, I'm not saying whether we allowed it before or after. I'm just saying. And so we're gonna wrap up tonight, but it's always fun. And Carter goes into other topics, including politics.
No, let's not. Yeah.
Oh, he talks only about the treasure hunt called Forrest Fenn, and that's it. Because if you try not to, he will bounce you.
I'll talk about anything, but other people may not want to talk about.
It's a park.
Other
It's
things.
not park.
It is a parking lot party.
Hooli just posted the link to Carter's YouTube channel, so everybody can go there.
And if you want, email me Carter@HHDiaries, and I'll send you the Zoom link because I'm gonna have to start a new one.
I have a really important question that I want to ask everyone, but I can ask it over at the.
Ooh, what if you ask it here?
Cliffhanger.
Yeah. It's a big one. I was going to wait, but I'm not.
Well, this is the full quote. Here's the full quote, and I think maybe we touched on it. It seems logical to me that a deep-thinking treasure searcher could use logic to determine an important clue to the location of the treasure. An important clue to the location of the treasure. But okay, we're going to wrap it up, Kpro?
Which is the most important clue?
Yeah,
We're wrapping it up.
We're wrapping it up. Are we showing eBay, or you just want to wait till Monday? Because they'll still be going on Monday.
If it's still going on, it's okay. I didn't know if Nelica's was still going on.
There's a couple eBay auctions, including a bronze that was actually from Forrest Fenn's Foundry. Do I have that right?
Yes.
That's up on eBay, but we'll show those on Monday night show because they end.
And
I
no
think.
one should bid because this is one I'm bidding on.
I might as well just
this is
show
the
them
hard
since we're
part.
talking about
We're
them.
here for everyone, but I want to bid on this one, so I'm okay if not this one, but if the Foundry piece.
Real quick, original illustration of Peggy from Too Far to Walk. What else is on eBay? You never, other than toilet paper, you never know what's going to be on eBay. Another Arrowhead. This one's white, which is interesting. Original Forrest Fenn Arrowhead is only at $75. And again, these end Monday night. This one I'm about to show actually ends on the marathon. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Not seeing it.
And some people have asked, is clothing optional on Carter's channel?
Hey,
I'm gonna
now.
let Carter answer that. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Joe Grandy, 7th Cavalry Scout, bronze cast by Forrest Fenn. One bid of $300. It ends on the marathon next Saturday. It's got right somewhere. I thought it said, hang on, guys. Right there, Fenn bronze. So, yeah, kind of cool. Number 67 out of 126. And there's details down here if you guys want to read up on it. So we just put this out there to the community for anybody that's interested in bidding. We're just letting you know. It would be a cool thing to have, though. Okay, that's it for the eBay auctions.
Okay.
All right.
There you have it. There it is. Thanks for everybody being here. Carter's inclusive. Clothing's optional. You can talk anything you want to talk. I've heard you just want to yell as loud as you can.
Unless you're Joel Lewicki and what you showed up with before.
So Carter, is only the people on here invited, or is anybody invited?
Anybody's invited.
All right,
and we can talk about anything, but we'll try to keep it with.
It's a parking lot party.
It is a parking lot party.
I have a feeling one day, very soon, we might be doing a joint little party.
I need some coronavirus though, Mike, to go out.
All right, Dave, go ahead. We're gonna go around the room real quick. Go ahead, Dave. Just say bye.
He wants the corona. No.
Well, you're muted, Dave. You're muted. You're muted. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you. So Carter, if it's for everybody, why don't you do like they did and just post the Zoom
link
in your
I will try that if
Holly's our girl. Holly will do it. Holly's awesome.
If I'm as good as Cowlazars, I will try that, Dave.
In the description, you could try it.
Yeah, Chaser and Mike Wood and
all Rooster all over the place.
All of y'all. I would love to have all of you.
I'm gonna out rooster you.
I only don't rooster here because of her.
No, everybody, and I will keep my mouth shut for the most part.
Oh, dear Lord.
Okay. Anybody? You guys want to go around the room? Davio, if you guys got a YouTube channel, you got something you want to promote, something you want to talk about, go real quick.
You know, if I had 1,000 subscribers, I could actually go mobile. So I'm only at 425. Anybody wants to help me get there? Right on. That's about all.
What's the name of the YouTube channel, Davio?
22.
Davio 22 on YouTube.
You can't say bad words.
No, you can do whatever you want on my channel. I'm not collecting money. So come on down.
To go Candy, go.
Oh, so I have the Imagination channel, Treasures New and Old on YouTube. And right now I'm almost at 300 subscribers. So yay. So if you guys want to check out my videos, I break down different things in a point of view no one else has really seen before. So it might be able to help you with yourself.
All right, AJ Rainville.
Hey, I'm AJ Rainville. I have a nice, fun little show right before Cowlazars and Hint of Riches on Monday nights. Come check out my show. We have some fun.
Cookies.
And there's cookies. There are emoji cookies. And every once in a while, there's a real cookie too, but I won't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody about that.
And the name of the channel is?
AJ Rainville.
Easy. All right. House Husband Diaries, go.
Oh man, the House Husband Diaries. I may or may not be a house husband. I may or may not have a diary on YouTube. And 3 days a week I talk about Forrest Fenn. 3 days a week I talk about politics, economics. I have a background master's degree in accounting, so that's kind of like my economics deal. I don't really care where you fall on the political side. I'm actually somewhere in the middle. And then on Sundays I talk about travel. I've been most of the way around the world. I've been in some really crazy places, third world. I've done a lot of nonprofit work. This is a map from my mom from the 50s when she was a kid. So I'm just interested in people's perspectives on the world. So it's really cool that Mike Wood's here from New Zealand and everybody else from all these other states. You know what I mean? Like it's just fascinating to talk to people and have those experiences. So I think what I will say is what has really inspired me about this chase from 2 years ago or so when I saw Cowlazars' first couple of vlogs is that when I forgot about it and I came back was there was this whole community around the Fenn treasure hunt, and that inspired me. So thanks to Mike Cowlazars and to everybody here is that there's a community around and it's people, and that's what I love. That's what I enjoy. And I'm trashy redneck. If you parking lot.
All a lie.
Okay. Meeps, when are you going to start your own YouTube channel?
When am I going to do that? Soon. Someday, maybe. I don't have one. I will be on the marathon.
Yesterday.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to hear me say some things, tune in.
All right. Logical Searcher.
Yep. I do have a YouTube channel. I've been creating videos, but right now they're marked private. So I'm going back and I just want to make sure that, they're good quality and everything, but I hope to be putting more out and have more free time. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And what's the YouTube channel? Logical Searcher, right?
The Logical Searcher.
Yeah. Okay. David Cross. I mean, Dave Calvi.
I think you guys are great.
I'm gonna go start mine.
I think you should do more of these because I think they're great.
Nice.
Okie Chess Chaser, what do you got?
I have no YouTube channel, but I do watch a lot of the Weather Channel. So if that counts.
All right.
Other than that, that's just it.
Oh. All right, Mike Wood, go.
Mike Wood from New Zealand. My kids have grown up. I like to ride bicycles. I'm not very good at YouTube. I don't have a channel.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, okay. All right, and Frank, go.
Oh, I'll tell you what, listening to House Husband, I'm just going to leave it with this. You know what goes good with coronavirus?
Corona beer.
Lyme disease.
Oh.
Coronavirus.
There it is. There you go. All right. Okay. All right, everybody. Kpro, you got the final say. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thumbs up. Go over to Carter's channel.
All I have to say is Carter's channel. Okay, I strongly believe the only way that we are going to stay strong as a network of people is to let everyone and support everyone in their channels as long as they're positive for everyone else. So I do have to say I went for a 30-minute Starbucks with Carter, and it ended up in being almost a 4 or 5 hour. I think Mike thought I'd been abducted because he always checks in with me when I was like meeting some strange man. I met some strange man, and he's awesome. Let's all help one another. He's already gone live. Please go over to his channel, The House Husband Diaries. Candy is another one. New channel. That one's going to be all about fun, but super, super thick on some of. I think it's going to be split. If I were to guess, she's going to have fun stuff where we're sitting and watching a movie, and then super stuff on ways that you have not thought about the chase. And then
various other treasure hunts too, like the caches, secrets.
Yes.
Beacon Star.
And then everything in between. AJ is awesome. Everybody has been so great. Yeah, there's a little bit of negative, but so much more positive. So I want to thank Mike. And Cowlazars is the place to be because we're going to continue on. We're going to keep on keeping on. AGK, subscribe to them because they keep things going. And we're going to get through this coronavirus thing. And it's tanked me, but I'm going to keep positive because of all of you. And I'm stuck in this house. Tomorrow, I hope to get out if I can, but I haven't been able to right now, and I'm sad about it, but we're going to get through this, and we're going to be stronger with it, and I will tell my story, my personal story of this, because I'm not going to play politics on my channel or Cowlazars' channel. It will be on Carter's channel. But we're all we're all better because of all of you. So you guys are awesome. And every single person on this channel or sitting in the chat room has helped me in some way. So I want to say thank you, but especially to Mike, who gets my ups and downs more than anybody. I know you don't love him, but we're going to make it through. And it's all because of this great blanket, Davey.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, thanks everybody for tuning in. We're going to end it on the Chaseopoly song. The marathon is a week from Saturday. We'll see everybody then.
And the Carter's channel, it's the house.
The kitchen table by the pepper and the salt. You can begin your adventure where the warm waters halt. No harsh sun, no rain that pours. Do your Forrest Fenn search indoors. It's safer and it goes much faster. It's more fun than playing canasta. If you're wise and you find the blaze, you can play several times in just one day. Chase Opoly, the thrill of the chase. Take your journey without ever leaving your place. It's fun for the young, it's fun for the old. Get your title to the gold when your real search for the treasure needs a break. Play Chaseopoly, the thrill of the chase. Chaseopoly, the thrill of the chase.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
All right, we're out. All right, we're out. All right, guys, thanks. Are you going to get on Carter's Kpro or no?
He's asking me. I don't know if I will.
If it's too late.
I got a little bit of this.
Uh-oh.
Where to go?
It's Teletubby sleepy time. All right.
I'm trying. I am trying.
Thanks for coming on, AJ. It was fun.
Okay.
We almost turned it into a marathon ourselves. Yeah.
All right. You guys take it easy.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Oh, I know it went longer than we should have.
I know, but you're excited about it.
Way
so
too
I'm
easy.
happy.
All right.
Do you see? Do you see?
I
honey?
saw it. Nobody ever really mentioned it in the chat, though. I was surprised. You'll probably get emails about it.
Yes.
All right. Let me close this down.
Okay.
All right. Everything's good then. The agenda next Saturday. I mean, the marathon next Saturday. How'd it go with the interview? The guy?
He didn't. He had to reschedule.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow night.
There's
Tomorrow
that. All right. Well, tomorrow we can talk about whatever your idea is for this fundraiser. Come up with a plan.
Yes, we will.
All right,
Okay.
Schwing Schwang. I love you.
Love you.
All right. Get some sleep.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.